He was taken by...
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going right in. No intro. Press conference just began. Let's listen in.
The Utah Department of Public Safety will be co-leading this criminal investigation to find this killer, along with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're working in unison with the County Sheriff's Office, the local police department, and the University Police Department, all of which have been very cooperative and fully engaged in this process.
It should be noted real quickly that Kash Patel, FBI Director Kash Patel, just tweeted out not 5 minutes ago that they have a suspect in custody. And
was not an accurate person of interest. However, he has been booked into the county jail by Utah Valley University Police Department for obstruction of justice. We do still have an active investigation for the person of interest. This incident occurred with a large crowd around. There was one shot fired and one victim. While the suspect is at large, we believe this was a targeted attack towards one individual. This is a tragic moment in our state and in our country. As we heal, we encourage everyone who is struggling with news of the incident to call 988, our state mental health crisis line. In addition to that, our partners with the FBI will also be discussing other ways we can communicate through the public for tips and other information. Thank you.
All right, again, some of these comments were probably prepared, obviously, before they knew what Kash Patel just tweeted 5 minutes ago.
To the family and friends of Charlie Kirk, our thoughts are also with the people who witnessed this traumatic event. We know that what you experienced was very difficult. Our thoughts are with you as well. As soon as we heard about the shooting, special agents and personnel from the Salt Lake Field Office responded immediately. We have full resources devoted to this investigation, including tactical, operational, investigative, and intelligence. To be clear, the FBI will fully support and co-lead this investigation alongside with our partners. We are working on setting up a digital media tip line, and as soon as it's established, we'll get that information out to everyone. I know there's a lot of questions. This is very much an active case, and this investigation is in its early stages. We are following all the leads and all the evidence. If anyone has any information, please report it to the FBI or local law enforcement. Thank you.
On behalf of President Jimenez, who we've been communicating with, and she's on her way back right now, I say that on behalf of Utah Valley University, we are shocked and saddened by the tragic passing of Charlie Kirk. We express our sincere condolences to the Kirk family. We grieve with our students, faculty, and staff who bore witness to this unspeakable tragedy. He was invited by the student group Turning Point USA to speak on our campus. We firmly believe that UVU is a place to share ideas and to debate openly and respectfully. Any attempt to infringe on those rights has no place here. We do not condone any form of violence at UVU and seek to make our campus a safe place for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this dark and tragic occasion. I want to thank our law enforcement officers who are leading this investigation, starting with Chief Long and his response here with the UVU Police Department. We're grateful for your leadership and your team. And again, to the speakers that you've just heard from who are co-leading this investigation. I also want to recognize Sheriff Mike Smith, who has been an invaluable partner as this investigation moves forward. I've been in touch with President Trump, with FBI Director Kash Patel. We are completely aligned with our state and federal partners as we work through this case. Now, this is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination.
Let's call it what it is.
We are celebrating 250 years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence. that this great experiment on which we embarked together 250 years ago, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The first one of those is life. And today, a life was taken. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a dad to 2 young children. He was also very much politically involved, and that's why he was here on campus. Charlie believed in the power of free speech and debate to shape ideas and to persuade people.
And they shot him for it.
Historically,
The left.
our university campuses in this nation and here in the state of Utah have been the place where truth and ideas are formulated and debated. And that's what he does. He comes on college campuses and he debates. That is foundational to the formation of our country, to our most basic constitutional rights. And when someone takes the life of a person because of their ideas or their ideals, then that very constitutional foundation is threatened. Now, we have a person of interest in custody. The investigation is ongoing. But I want to make it crystal clear right now to whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah.
Boom. Drop the hammer.
Our nation is broken. We've had political assassinations recently in Minnesota.
Sorry, it's over. This is Utah Governor
We had
Spencer
an attempted
Cox.
assassination on the governor of Pennsylvania. And we had an attempted assassination on a presidential candidate and former president of the United States, and now current president of the United States. Nothing I say can unite us as a country. Nothing I can say right now can fix what is broken. Nothing I can say can bring back Charlie Kirk. Our hearts are broken. We mourn with his wife, his children, his family, his friends. We mourn as a nation. If anyone in the sound of my voice celebrated even a little bit at the news of this shooting, I would beg you to look in the mirror and to see if you can find a better angel in there somewhere. I don't care what his politics are. I care that he was an American. We desperately need our country. We desperately need leaders in our country. But more than the leaders, we just need every single person in this country to think about where we are and where we want to be. To ask ourselves, is this it? Is this what 250 years has wrought on us? I pray that that's not the case. I pray that those who hated what Charlie Kirk stood for will put down their social media and their pens and pray for his family, and that all of us will try to find a way to stop hating our fellow Americans. With that, we're happy to take a few questions.
The FBI director is posting that a suspect is in custody. I would just like clarification. Do you or do you not have a suspected shooter in custody?
We have a person of interest in custody that is being interviewed right now. We do.
That is not George Zinn.
That is not George Zinn. That is correct.
Are you still searching or looking for another shooter or anybody else related to this?
Yes, we are actively looking for anyone and everyone who has any possible information relating to the shooting.
Can you tell us details about the suspect being taken into custody? Where, how long ago?
We cannot at this point, but we will get you that information when we can.
Is there believed to be a second individual involved in the shooting?
At this point, there is no information that would lead us to believe that there is a second person involved.
Can you guys talk about the possible shooter?
Do you want to talk about what we know there? Yeah.
The only information we have on the suspect, the possible shooter, is taken from closed circuit TV here on campus. We do have that. We're analyzing it, but it is security camera footage, so you can kind of guess what.
You knew there had to be
quality of that
something. They
is.
had to have
We
something.
do know dressed in
camera
all
footage,
dark
something.
clothing, but we don't have a much better description other than that.
Where do you think the shot came from?
The shot came from here on campus, from a location at a third, potentially from a roof, yes. A longer distance shot from a roof.
So to clarify, with the security
Some
camera
estimates
footage,
earlier were
and
200
the person
yards.
That's in custody, do those?
That's not a shot
That's
that,
what we're
that
trying to decipher right
the
now.
normie
So did
can.
FBI or DHS have anything on the threat?
I mean, like first time picked up a rifle, I got mad at Charlie. I'm going to go
I'll just
do
say
something
that,
bad.
The investigation's ongoing, and as soon as we have further information, we will be sure to release it.
Any indications of foreign intelligence involvement?
As of now, I can't comment on any of that.
Can you talk a little about the security of the event itself? Who was there security-wise and what happens on these kind of events?
So my name is Jeff Long. I'm the police chief here at UVU, and I'll tell you right now, we're devastated. We're a small police department. We have a very large campus. We have over 40,000 students, and we love our students. We love our visitors, and we're devastated by what happened today. This is the police chief's nightmare. I'm very saddened for the Kirk family. I know his wife and parents found out about this. Obviously he's away from home. He's here in Utah. They find out by a police officer that visits their home. That's tragic. Nobody wants that. But I can tell you about our venue today. This was an open venue. This was outside. We did have 6 officers working that event. We had probably over 3,000 people that were in attendance. It sat down in kind of a bowl area here on the central campus. We have a waterfall area. And so he was kind of in a lower area surrounded by buildings. We had some plainclothes police officers that were in the crowd as well. We train for these things. And you think you have things covered, and these things. Unfortunately, they happen. You try to get your bases covered, and unfortunately today we didn't. And because of that, we had this tragic incident. So we did have officers there. We had Charlie Kirk's team. He has a security team that travels with him, and they were here with him when he was shot.
Was the gun recovered?
I'm sorry, see?
Was the weapon recovered?
At this point, I can't disclose that.
When
Who
Charlie
made
Kirk was
the
shot,
arrest?
there was a question being asked about mass shooting. Was that person apprehended? And do you know who asked that question?
Say the question again. I don't know if I understand what you're saying.
When Charlie Kirk was shot, he was answering a question about mass shootings specifically. Was that person apprehended? And do you know who asked that question?
I do not. We do not have that at this moment.
What kind of weapon was used?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have time for just one more question, so thank you.
Yeah, a question for the chief as well. Was it your team or Kirk's team or a combination of both that kind of set the security protocol for the event?
So we work together. He has his team, and they do this all over the country. We all know that. This is not uncommon for them. They're very comfortable on campuses, and I was coordinating with his lead security guy.
Crackling
and,
is from the
so,
conference,
yeah, we were working together.
not me.
Was this a
Let everybody know.
shot?
Ladies and gentlemen, those are all the questions that will be answered today. Again, thank you for covering this. We will be updating you as soon as we have additional information through normal channels, working with law enforcement. Again, our deepest condolences to the Kirk family and to the students who were there today. I would just ask everyone everywhere to please pray for their family and to pray for our country. We need it now more than ever. Thank you.
All right, just listening in there. That was the chief of Utah Valley Police alongside Utah.
All right, so not terribly surprised by the limited amount of information that was fed out in that conference. It's very early. Obviously, we want to let the investigation go on unabated. There are certain things that can be said, certain things that cannot be said right now. You heard some of the questions about, who was the person you arrested? Can you tell us anything about him? Have you recovered the weapon? They didn't want to give answers to that. That's fine. I understand why. That's they don't want to put a lot of information out there yet, because doing so only harms the investigation. Whether or not the person that they have in custody winds up being the actual person. Let me pull this up, because I'll just pause it on this so you can see it. Let me bring in the screen again here. The subject, this was posted by Kash Patel, FBI director, just moments before we hit the go live button. And let me say real briefly that, yes, we're starting later tonight, about half an hour. We wound up starting about half an hour later tonight on the main channel. I thought I was going to start at 6 p.m. Central, give myself time to get home and start putting things together. And then this news conference that we just watched was coming up. So I said, let me just go ahead and cut in. I killed the intro. We didn't do the 5-minute intro thing. We just went right into it because it was beginning. We are broadcasting tonight on the main channel on Valiant Renegade. We are also broadcasting, obviously, on Renegade Nation, the channel that something like this I would normally do exclusively on. But because this is Wednesday, and we typically do a Wednesday evening show, 5 p.m. We usually go live at 5, as we always say, Sundays and Wednesdays, Central Time. So I figured let's do it on both. So we're broadcasting on Valiant Renegade. We are broadcasting on Renegade Nation as well. We are also broadcasting on X, of course. So wherever you're watching, we appreciate you being here. This is a very, very sad, tragic, horrible day. And we're going to go through a lot of it. I'm not going to pull any punches again. This has been a really rough week for some of these news stories. We're all sick of this. We're all sick and tired of it. And I think everybody is sick and tired of playing nice. I think everybody's sick and tired of trying to pretend that there's some moral equivalency out there that, well, everybody on all sides, blah, blah, blah. No, we're not doing that. That's not happening. And if we ever are going to stop these types of incidents from happening, if we are ever going to stop this level of violence, then we first have to acknowledge where the problem is and where the overwhelming amount of it comes from, because it's all very, very one-sided. But this is what Kash Patel posted just a few moments ago. The subject, now I don't know if that's a typo and he meant suspect, or maybe he did mean subject. I don't know. The subject, not a subject. He said the. So I find the choice of that, the article E, a little telling, perhaps. The subject for the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Thank you to the local and state authorities in Utah for your partnership with the FBI. We will provide updates when available. Yeah, I think we've all seen the video, so I'm obviously very reticent to post the video of Charlie Kirk's murder here on YouTube. for obvious reasons. YouTube will not like that. I think we've all seen it. It's out there. I've seen various angles of it, various distances of it. The most horrifying was one that was maybe not even 30 to 40 feet away from Charlie Kirk when it happened. And when I saw the close-up angle of the impact and then what happened in the next 2 or 3 seconds, I immediately said, there's little to virtually no chance of surviving that type of hit. It was brutal. It was into the left side of his neck, severing all the major arteries. The amount of loss following that within 1 to 2 seconds was very obvious. And that is not a type of wound that people recover from. Sure enough, a short time later, a couple hours later, we had confirmation that Charlie Kirk had indeed passed away. And for what? For what? Let's be honest. We can all say, well, let's wait for the facts to come out. Well, let's wait to see what happened. I 1000% agree. But I think we can make some very reasonable, grounded speculations at this point in time that I think we all know why. The left couldn't beat him, so they had to take him out. If it sounds familiar, we sat here a little over a year ago and had a similar conversation, although the target of the left's animosity survived, and that was President Donald Trump. When you spend years telling your supporters and your voting base that the right side of the political aisle they're all quote unquote literally Hitler or quote unquote Nazis, and you constantly dive in with refrains of, punch a Nazi, hit a Nazi, fight Nazis, Nazis, Nazi. I mean, this is the left. There's no denying this. There's no sweeping it under the rug. Yes, you wind up radicalizing people to actually act on what you've said for years. And we're not talking about rank and file folk. We're talking about actual elected officials. We're talking about Democrat Party leaders, governors, mayors, congressmen, on and on and on. We saw it years ago when there was an assassination attempt that I think injured 3 or 4 folks at a baseball game. If you recall, Steve Scalise got it the worst. Steve Scalise, actually, where I live around here, he's from this area. He's from Louisiana, and then we had, of course, the multiple assassination attempts on President Trump, and now this. And the left, of course, wants to act like, they're already out there. Let me show you this. This was just before the news conference. I was watching this. I was like waiting for the news conference, and they were interviewing congressmen outside of Capitol Hill on the shooting. And I'm sorry, because this is probably going to make people sick, but I'm going to play this because this is what I'm talking about. This was 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes ago outside Capitol Hill. Get ready for it because you know what you're about to hear.
I I mean, I think what has just transpired is tremendously disturbing. It is the latest evolution and instance of political violence in the United States, and it must end.
Congresswoman, what message do you have to your fellow lawmakers regarding the political environment? What message do you have to your fellow lawmakers regarding the political environment and the rhetoric that has been put out in the media?
You know, beyond rhetoric, we need to talk about action, and we need to talk about, yes, there are words, but most importantly, we are in a job of leadership. We are in a job of action.
Think you know where this is going. Think you know where this is going. And I saw somebody make a comment out there, and let's see. There it is. The people who say words are violence are committing real violence. That's right. That's one of the hallmarks of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's party, is it not? Learn that words are violence. Man, before I dig into this, we've got some people that sending in super chats. Let me grab these real quick, and then we're going to continue playing this. It's probably an appropriate point in that frame right there, how she looks to have paused on this. Not saying it. Snarky says, deeply saddened for the Kirk family. Strive to be a better human being every day. Live, laugh, and love. Peace be with you all. Prayers and reflection in honor of Charlie Kirk. Thank you, Snarky. Indeed. Araxis gifted 5 Valiant Renegade channel memberships, and that's on the main channel. We don't have memberships over on Renegade Nation. So if you're watching on Renegade Nation, if you're watching on the main channel, don't worry. Everything's populating back here in StreamYard, so we should have everything to go. Jim Butler for $2. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Vixaris, pardon me. Vixaris, I'm sorry. Member for 23 months. Thank you for being such a great supporter. Rest in peace to one of Jesus's own. Prayers for his wife and children and the legacy he leaves behind. Alpha Omega says they killed the messenger and peacemaker. Now what? Yeah, we're going to talk about that. And Snarky, thank you very much for the 10 gifted Valiant Renegade channel memberships out there. If you guys are getting some of these gifted memberships, make sure you thank these fine folks. We're going to get right back to this. All the news and some of the things that I'm going to show you are going to just make you even sicker. And you can imagine what's going on places like Blue Sky right now. Big amped. Big empty. I'm sorry if I get it wrong. For $2, you called down the thunder. Well, now you've got it. A line from Tombstone, spoken by Kurt Russell, who was playing Wyatt Earp. Macon, for 11 months, says, I've been hoping for a long while that we as a nation and people weren't too far gone. Today, that hope just died for me. Charlie Kirk. Don't let it. Don't let it. It ain't good out there, but it ain't over. Don't let it. Zandy for 5, and here I thought the train stabbing radicalized me as much as anything could. I couldn't be more horrified to be wrong. Rest in peace, Charlie. Yeah. Let me grab 2 more here. Marcus Squintus. And Marcus, I wrenched you on the main channel in case you didn't notice. These last 2 weeks have been a kick in the nuts for the Renegade Nation. I am too exhausted to be filled with rage, just sorrow. So that being said, and he sends another chat here. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Indeed. All right. Let me get back, and we will get back. Don't worry. If you sent in a super chat, we will absolutely get to it. Let's get back to this real quick. Here she's about to go into what she thinks. It's terrible. It's tragic. It's horrible. Political violence is a no-no, says Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who herself has been, in one form or fashion, part of the fomenting of this very attitude amongst her base for years. What's her solution?
We are in a role and a position where the American people are looking to us to do something about this. And every single day, people are dying.
I'm going to push back on this. Does anybody out there in the chat, let me ask you seriously at this point in time, in 2025, let me ask y'all, are y'all seriously out there looking to the United States Congress to solve this, to be able to do anything? And specifically, let's take it to the left, to the Democrat Party, who has created this atmosphere among their base for years. Cortez says people are looking to us. Yeah, I'm kind of tired of hearing that from elected officials, and not just on the left. That people are looking to us. I think, unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this country who are long past thinking that Congress is going to do anything, or at the very least, that Congress is going to choose to take advantage of a situation and either do the wrong thing or just make things flat out worse. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Never let a good crisis go to waste, right? That's the mantra here for these folks.
Due to gun violence in America,
There it
and
is.
every single day there are people in this building that continue to vote against doing anything.
Right. The problem, according to Cortez, in case you didn't catch it, is Republicans. The problem in Congress is that, because we had a Republican conservative figurehead today, Charlie Kirk, who was murdered, sitting down, having a conversation with thousands of people, the audacity of sitting down and talking, and conservatives apparently are to blame. Give me a break.
They vote against universal background checks. They continue to support legislation and also remove any way to block the mentally ill, to block extremists, to block people with.
To block the mentally ill, to block extremists, to block. I'm thinking what she's talking about here are these red flag laws, where basically just anybody can put anybody on a list and ban them from exercising their Second Amendment right. Again, the answer on the left is always to disarm the law-abiding populace.
Histories and records of domestic violence from getting guns in their hands.
That does happen, by the way. History of violence, history of domestic abuse, history of any violent crime typically comes with due process of law, by which that person, through due process of law, is then stripped of their ability to go purchase a firearm. We already do that. We have been doing that in this country since forever and a day ago.
So are we going to do something about this or not? We have a political assassination that happened at the same time as a school shooting where children are dying on the same day, a week after a shooting at a Catholic school where children were gunned down while praying. Are we going to do something, or are we going to argue over rhetoric? That is my question about this. We have to pass gun safety legislation and stop this.
Gun safety legislation. What the hell does that even mean? Right? That again, and she talks about a lot of things that have already been done. And then there were other interviews out there. I can't listen to AOC anymore. Again, we're never going to address the problem. What she should have said was the correct answer is we have to look inward because there are people out there. Maybe we need to tone down our rhetoric. Maybe we've taken things too far, referring to Republicans as Hitler and Nazis and Trump as a Nazi or as literal Hitler, and people like Charlie Kirk as literal Hitler, and on and on and on. Somebody, and I'm gonna switch over to another window here because there's so many clips I have saved on X right now. And, I apologize. I'm going to be scrambling here, trying to do this after a work day. And A lot of them are out of order, but just bear with me on this puppy. This was the post from Kash Patel, by the way, if you want to go see it. Now already up at 4 or 5 million views. And again, I know we're going to have to be patient to get more information on this, clearly. That being said, let's take a look at some of the real, I'm going to pull up some of these things. I'm beside myself at some of the stuff I've seen today. We saw this. We knew what the case was. Donald Trump had posted a couple of tweets. We saw this one just about 2 hours after the incident, I think roughly 2 hours. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of all of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and he is now no longer with us. Melania, and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. This is how the news broke. This is how we all knew. That was basically the confirmation of what we all deep down already knew was the case. After seeing how this went down, after seeing the footage of him being shot, again, to me, there was, once I saw how it hit, where it hit, saw the close-up of it, I said, no. It just is what it is. James Woods, pretty poignant. It's not gun violence. It's Democrat violence. This kind of stuff seems to be overwhelmingly relegated to one side. Does that mean that nobody on the other side has ever done anything bad? No. But the severity and the frequency of these incidents of all scale from that side seems to, it's undeniable. It's absolutely undeniable. People out there, says Dom Luker, I've never followed him, sharing his thoughts, how shocked he was to see what happened to Charlie Kirk. Dom is a big online influencer out there. This is what I'm talking about. Let's start with this. This is what we mean. The Southern Poverty Law Center put a bullseye on Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA earlier this year. It's from Wall Street Maverick. Southern Poverty Law Center, which is an extreme left-wing group, puts the largest conservative grassroots youth group on the, quote, hate map, which they actually, if you go to the SPLC's website, they actually have the hate group map. They've had this for many years. And Charlie Kirk was put on it. They also list a lot of other just normal conservatives out there, influencers and whatnot, on the hate map, along with known chapters of the Klan. Once again, when you spend years taking normal folks out there like Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump and other conservatives and influencers or Republicans or what have you, and you spend years denigrating these people and telling folks that they are no different than the Klan or than a Nazi, you don't get to act surprised when your crazies that you need to show up every 2 and 4 years to vote for you folks actually act on your words. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And this is just some of the comments out there under that post. Sorry, scroll back here. Let's take another one. How about PMS NBC? It's just, I'm telling you guys, it doesn't end. This is going to get crazier and dumber and crazier.
In which a shooting like this happens. Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. You said you don't know what's going on, and I'm sorry, what was your hypothesis that it could be?
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we.
What? You did not just seriously suggest on the news that this might have just been a Charlie Kirk supporter that was celebrating and shooting his gun off in celebration. Are you shitting me right now? You starting to wonder, since we usually do on Wednesday nights right now, we're covering kind of the Hollywood and entertainment business news scene. Y'all have any question anymore as to why, number one, the viewership for PMSNBC is in the toilet, and number two, do you have any question now as to why Brian Roberts and the crew, the boys that are running Comcast, Comcast, NBC, Universal, why they spun MSNBC out with another group of underperforming trash networks they have from the core Comcast company structure? Do you have any questions why? If you had any questions why, this is why.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea. But
in which
it's amazing. It's amazing. I saw. Oh, hey, Six, what's up? I haven't seen Six in a while. Good to see Six. Why are you holding all the comments? I don't think we're holding comments. I'm looking at StreamYard right now, so I can't. I'm not in the YouTube chat. I mean, unless the comments. Sometimes YouTube will auto flag stuff, so I'm not entirely sure. Because sometimes they'll ask, like, oh, review this comment. And I know people out there are upset right now. I get it. But let's, again, remember, you get too wild with some of the remarks and comments, especially, violent things, and YouTube winds up hitting my channel for it. So just be careful with that. I don't see anything. But then again, I may be looking at the wrong thing. I'm looking at the lobby backstage in YouTube studio for the main channel. So I don't know if maybe there's something going on Renegade Nation. But any case, yeah, if use your best judgment. I don't want to suppress anybody's comments, but yeah, sometimes moderators, that's what they're there for, is to use their best judgment. As far as, if somebody says, oh, we need to totally get revenge and go after blah, blah, blah. And you gotta be careful on days like this because it can cause problems. So just look, be upset, vent out there in the chat, but obviously, clearly, don't say anything in chat as far as, calls to violence or anything like that. Clearly, that goes without saying, regardless of the situation. I understand the emotions right now are running hot. And I'm with you. I'm with you. But yeah, this is the kind of goofy, stupid stuff that we're going to be looking at here. One of the ones, and I may not have marked it, although I know where it's at. I think Chrissy Mayer posted it because I was like, oh, I'm looking for. I knew exactly what I was trying to find. And I got to find it again. Chrissy Mayer had posted it, I think. Let me find it. And it was exactly the montage that I was looking for. This is another one. Let's just play this one. She had a couple. There's a couple of these, and I probably have multiple versions saved. Same anchor on MSNBC. I think this is a different clip, but
because as we were just talking about a moment ago with Alan, after one of the Doge employees was allegedly attacked in Washington, D.C., that's what Donald Trump used as justification to send in federal troops into Washington.
Allegedly? Wasn't he actually attacked?
D.C. to get things under control. The carjacking situation, he used that. And I know it's hard to predict the future, Mark, but you can imagine the administration using this as a justification for something.
I must admit, I'm at a loss to guess as to what happens next.
Again, immediately turn it around. And let me tell you why they think this way. They think this way, right? Or they say this about Trump because they think this way. Because again, like I said earlier, this goes back to the Obama administration. Remember David Axelrod, or was it Rahm Emanuel? Maybe it was Rahm Emanuel, the chief of staff for Obama. Never let a good crisis go to waste, right? Because they behave like that, they think that everybody does. There's always an element of projection out there. And this is one of those times. As frustrating as it is. Now, is Trump going to, I mean, what is he going to do? Well, certainly there needs to be some response, right? But they look at this as this is going to give Trump an opportunity to blah, 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 right? It's not Charlie Kirk is dead. He has been murdered in front of thousands of people. No, that's not the issue. For MSNBC, the problem is, what is Trump going to do with this? You don't hate these people enough. I'm just telling you, you don't. You think you do. You think you do, but you don't. I've got to go back. She must have posted this. Where did this go? Here it is. I found it. All right. Big shout out to my buddy Chrissy Mayer for finding this. I'd say finding it for me in the sense that I'm using it right now. But this is the, she found this and shared it on her page on X. And I'm going to take advantage of it because this is more or less what I was looking to find before. When I tell you that they have spent years fomenting this type of attitude amongst their base, well, I'll let them tell you.
Just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
I'm sorry. What was that, Nancy Pelosi?
Just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
Yeah, we had all those BLM riots for years. Now we got this. Thanks, Nancy.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you
That was, I want to make this clear. This is Eric Holder. This is the former Attorney General of the United States under Barack Obama, Eric Holder.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought.
Don Lemonhead. Say that again for us, Don, on CNN with Andrew Cuomo or the other Cuomo, or who gives a crap Cuomo. What was that again? The biggest terrorist threat in this country is whom?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought
radicalized white men on the right are the biggest terror threat in this country, according to CNN and Don Lemon. I'd ask the question, the obvious answer. Does anybody actually believe that? Let me rephrase. Does anybody with two functioning brain cells actually believe that? Is there any evidence, any data anywhere to even suggest remotely that is the case. If there is, I've never seen it. And you know why we haven't seen it? Because it doesn't really exist. Because if it existed, they'd be talking about it every day. They'd be showing you every day.
You should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
You came down the escalator.
Yeah, you should punch him on the... She's talking about Donald Trump. You should just punch him in the face. Just punch him in the face.
To the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
You came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe Robert De Niro should stop worrying so much about what Trump is doing and maybe concentrate more on his son, who's clearly mentally deranged. You can go look that up and you know what I'm talking about.
Said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Yeah, I'm going to take Donald Trump. If Donald Trump was in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and I'd beat the hell out of him. Here's the fat jerk weasel from Stranger Things, if anybody's watching that anymore.
Punch some people in the face.
Some him and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face.
Yeah, I think we all know who he was talking about. What's his name? David Harbour? Yeah.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still...
That was Johnny Depp. Sorry, Johnny, you said it.
We're going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Yikes. What channel was that on? Oh, MSNBC again. We're going to have to go out and we're going to have to go out and do something horrible to a sitting president of the United States, is what he said. And you think these people aren't culpable on days like this? When men like Charlie Kirk get shot and killed?
And that's a fact.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death. Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him? I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Yeah.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
Oh, but Valiant, it's only a couple. It only happened a couple times. It's a couple times.
We'll go and take Trump out tonight. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them.
Yeah, you terrorize them. You get in their face. You assault them. That's Maxine Waters right there. Sitting congressman from Timbuktu. She's been in Congress way too long. Or didn't she pass away recently? I don't remember. That woman is a 207-year-old prune. Elected officials here we're talking about. Congressional leaders.
And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. They're not going to.
How many times did they refer to Donald Trump as a terrorist? Countless.
Stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Well, I'm sure those are just isolated incidents, all 37 of them. And that's just what was in that clip. I promise you there's probably 10, if not 100 times more than that if you know, we spent time digging everything up. And you wonder why. And you're going to sit here, people like AOC are going to sit there and have the audacity to try to bring up well, we need more gun safety legislation. For what? Oh, we don't even know who did it yet. The FBI apparently does. Hopefully, we'll find out sooner than later. Or I should say, at least they think they have a person of interest. And you know how it goes. They get somebody in. It's a person of interest. Then person of interest becomes suspect if it goes further. And then suspect becomes, we arrested the guy, So we'll see. We'll see how that rolls out. But Charlie Kirk, the left hated him, and let's be honest, they killed him because they couldn't beat him. This is the bottom line. This is the bottom line. So, well, what if it was somebody on the right? Can somebody come up with a feasible excuse why anybody on the right would do it? I mean, I can't figure that. I've heard people throw that out so many times. In this afternoon, it's ridiculous deflection that's going on out there. And again, people out there are just, I don't even want to play some of these TikTok videos of some of these angry Karens, because they're gonna wind up saying something that's gonna get me banned on YouTube, because YouTube's gonna think it's me. That video I probably just played might get me in trouble. I have no idea. YouTube is a weird place. The algorithm doesn't always or very often recognize things correctly. So, yeah. Just see this here. Looks like our buddy D-Day Cobra just posted this. Charlie Kirk is in heaven, and his passing will change the country and the world. Humanity will be better because of him. Evil exists, and they are currently showing everyone who they are right now. Pray for his beautiful family. Yeah, totally agree. It's this is one of those days where I was like, I'll put it this way. I was scheduled to skip today's live show. Even on the main channel, I was going to skip the Wednesday show because I had to pack tonight. I'm getting on the road tomorrow. And hang on one second. Something in my eyes itching the hell out of me. I had to pack to get on the road tomorrow. Probably be doing the Sunday show from the road. And then, this whole thing happened. And we'll get to some of these other ones. Some of these comments are just, I don't even want to read these things. Some people are seriously messed up. That's all I can say. Clay Travis, he's got it right. Pray for Charlie's family. Evil is real. The left couldn't win debates with him, so they killed him. Yes. Yes. And look, between X and the 2 channels on YouTube, we've got 2,300 watching. So please do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the share button. We appreciate you. And I'm hoping everybody, and I'm sure everybody is, out there in the YouTube community streaming and talking about this tonight. And that's what we need. That's absolutely what we need. I want to, oh God. Brooklyn Dad Defiant. If you don't know who he is, consider yourself blessed. He's an idiot. He's a really, really big idiot. Whoever shot Charlie Kirk should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and the Republican Party has to stop opposing common sense gun reform, especially assault rifles. And you can see my response. Again, someone who knows nothing about which they speak of, firearms, offers an opinion on the thing they know nothing about. There was one shot fired. One. What does this have to do with assault rifles? What are you talking about? But no, the people on the left can't pass up a good opportunity to to show how absolutely moronic they are. One shot. And I mean, this was a shot from this was a 200-yard shot. And I know there's comments in the chat about that. And we'll get there. But Colin Rugg, well, this was earlier. Now there is a suspect in custody. But the university in Utah says that Charlie Kirk was shot from the Losey Center 200 yards away. So that's where this information was coming from. This was something being talked about by the university itself. This is what you're getting in comments from the left right now. Mm-hmm. I'm not reading these out loud. I'm just not. Common sense is not a word that I think the left in any way understands. Because they, A, don't seem to have any, and B, they keep using that word. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. This is one of the rants from, conservative Ant. I've seen this guy here and there before. He's over there. He's, as he says, he's a gay Republican, gay conservative. He is dicey in this language here. So I'm going to warn you now, you people that watch me on Renegade Nation, if there's a hard hitting enough story like we had last night, I was not holding back. I was trying not to do that today because just too somber of a mood right now to go into full blown rant mode. But I'm going to let this guy do it for me. This is conservative Ant, again, self-described gay conservative, gay Republican guy.
So here's my synopsis of what just happened to Charlie Kirk. I'm telling you right now, liberal influencers and liberals and I can't even talk right now. I'm so fucking pissed. Y'all are fucking terrorists. Liberals are the fucking terrorists of the fucking planet. Y'all are the ones who are creating all this fucking bullshit and all this crime. I don't give a fuck who fucking hears me. Y'all fucking liberal content creators that are paid by the fucking liberal DNC, and y'all liberal content creators that fucking incite violence and all this bullshit, y'all are terrorists, because none of us have ever and will ever go up there while one of your fucking little influencers are talking and shoot them in the fucking neck. But guess what? Bet. This is what you fucking do. This is what you do. For people that have free think and free speech, you go and fucking shoot somebody in the fucking neck because you can't handle your little fucking feelings. Bet. Ooh, I'm so fucking hot right now.
Yeah. I mean, he feels like a lot of us feel like right now. Like I said, I'd seen this guy. I'd seen this guy a couple of times, and then he ran across my feed again. And actually, I'm gonna follow this guy. Yeah, I just fair rant. I mean, that was guttural. It was, I just saw the news. It's like walking out of a restaurant. He's probably sitting with friends, and he's like, I'll be right back. I got to walk outside because I can't yell this out inside. We get it. JB Pritzker. Y'all want to hear what JB Pritzker said? And all these guys have the same script. They start out the same way every time. Nobody should support violence. Nobody should support political violence. Very sad to learn about the tragedy of blood. And then they go right into all of the hallmarks of stupid from there. Like clockwork. like absolute clockwork. Let me grab some of these super chats here that came in real quick. Let me grab, and like I said, we're going to circle back. We're going to get all of them. I want to clear some of these $20 ones because people are being very generous, and I want to address them. Paul S. for $20. Charlie Kirk died for his faith. He talked politics and culture, but it was all built upon the foundation of his faith. Charlie Kirk was instrumental in Donald Trump's win. He gave all the glory to God. That's who Charlie Kirk is. Amen. Snarky says, yeah, flags are half staff till Sunday. I saw that. I actually retweeted, I think, what Trump had put out on that. It was the White House, I think, put it out. It's very appropriate, Jester. KMG, what's up, Grits? Thank you for the $20, my friend. Enough is enough. The administration needs to immediately take action and make this a real, quote, turning point. Yes, the name Turning Point, which is Charlie Kirk's organization, if you didn't know, needs to now take on a bigger role. That name that needs to become that's the national thing. That may need to be the battle cry for 2026, because this is not going to get fixed with a lot of the current people that are sitting in Washington. Make this a real turning point, Grit says, for justice by issuing a wave of indictments. We have waited long enough. Rest in peace, Charlie, and rest in peace, Polly Holiday, a.k.a. Flo. Yeah. Tank Rat for 100 AED. And I always forget AED. I forget what this is. I'm usually very good on foreign currencies, but AED... I always screw this one up. But thank you for the super chat. I really am starting to believe that any person associated with the left side of politics have mental health issues with what I saw on the House floor today when a prayer and moment of silence was called for Charlie. Tank Rat, I don't think I saw that one. I don't think I saw the footage you're talking about. Can you, if you have it on X, can you tag me on X? If you got a link to that? Thank you, bud. Let's see. Wild Man of Yavin for $20 to bring something to laugh about in all of this. My coworker is a 40-year-old, and she talked at work today about how her parents didn't tuck her into bed last night. Shit you not. Just, it's a sad day, but laughed at this as it happened. I mean, I guess we all need something to kind of chuckle and smile about, but we can't lose focus of what happened today and what the nature of what happened today should mean. And the thought processes that should absolutely shift the winds of thinking of every American person. Britt Cormier for $50. Thank you for the $50, my man. Normally, I play clips, when people send in like the $50 super chats or something funny, but y'all forgive me today for not doing it. It just does not feel appropriate to go down that road. Britt Cormier for $50. Blaming a gun is like blaming a knife. Exactly. They are dumb pieces of metal, wood, and plastic. Guns and knives only do what they're commanded to do by the wielder. I'm tired of people blaming everything but the person. Well, because again, you think about, especially for the left, what do they constantly champion? They champion mental illness as a virtue. And then in the same breath, want to talk about how we need more mental health help. But they have an entire movement, a huge wing of their entire political movement is corrupting school children with transgender ideology. Hey, little Billy, you're 5 years old, but you might be a girl. And then they want to talk about how we need more mental health help. Again, pardon my French. Are you shitting me? They know what they're doing. Grits also says, as a fellow gay conservative, I'm snapping to conservative ants rant. I'm glad you like that one. Have you followed him before, KMG? I like I said, I saw him run across my feed a couple of times in the past, and he ran across today, and I was like, I think I know this guy, and I watched it, and I was like, that was perfect. That was perfect. Thank you guys for the support there. Again, I'm gonna get back to all of these. We got JRG projects for $20. This will galvanize the young Gen Z men like myself who followed Charlie. I was a generation behind with Mark Levin and Glenn Beck, but this was a fourth turning event. The left just lost the culture along with elections. That was one of the things. Charlie Kirk, I mean, he was shifting tremendous portions of the younger demographic to the right because he was so good at communicating with them. And that absolutely terrified Democrats more than anything. I think that was a big reason behind it. Let me see. I think I might have. Wait, let me double check something. I hope I didn't just accidentally uncheck something I wasn't supposed to. No, I think I got it. Again, running on multiple channels today. We're here on the main channel on Valiant Renegade. We're here on Renegade Nation, also on YouTube. I don't even know how many people are in Renegade Nation. I don't have that one up. If there's any mods in Renegade Nation, let me know what the count is over there, because I get one total count in StreamYard right now. It's at about 2,300, and I've got a bunch watching on X. All right, let's get back to this with JB Pritzker, the governor of Illinois. I'm trying real hard not to hurl some personal insults at this fat piece of shit. I'm sorry, damn it. I did it.
Sympathy to Charlie Kirk's family and to Charlie Kirk, who obviously has, become a target for somebody. I don't know whether it's political violence because I don't know who did it. I know they seem to have somebody.
I don't know if it's political violence. I realize there's been no official statement as to motive yet, but it's like coming home, okay? And there's just you and the dog, and you walk in the house, and there's a puddle of piss on the floor. Now, I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure it was the dog, right? You think somebody took a 200-yard shot at Charlie Kirk to mug him? What do you think this is? But of course, we get the boilerplate hallmark language in the beginning.
In custody. But I will say that political violence.
But I will say, here's the butt, the big fat butt.
Unfortunately, has been ratcheting up. And I will say that political violence, unfortunately, has been ratcheting up in this country. We saw the shootings.
From whom? And by whom?
Killings in Minnesota. We've seen other political violence occur in other states. And I would just say it's got to stop. And
but it's all you guys. Or like 90+% of it. I mean, and I'm probably lowballing, let's be fair. I mean, all the Occupy movement, Chaz in Portland. Wasn't it Portland, Oregon years ago? Not to mention all the BLM crap. Again, much of which was based on outright lies and bullshit. And the left ratcheted it up as much as they could. And when I say the left, I'm talking about guys like Pritzker. I'm talking about the leadership. I'm talking about the governors, the congressmen, even former presidents and vice presidents.
I think there are people who are fomenting it in this country.
Oh, we all know who's fomenting it. I think I think there are people fomenting it. Tell me who. Give me a name. Give me a group. Look in a mirror.
I think the president's rhetoric often foments it.
Oh, God. There it is. It's Trump's fault. Listen, J.B. Pritzker, governor of Illinois. Listen to the whole thing again.
It's got to stop. And I think there are people who are fomenting it in this country. I think the president's rhetoric often foments it.
The president's rhetoric.
The January 6th rioters who clearly,
January 6th.
Tripped a new era of political violence.
Okay. So there we go. Spinning right back into the short bus retarded comments. This is what you call politicizing something. When you take aspects of a situation that clearly have no bearing on the situation and then try to twist it into something for your own political gain, right? This was a politically charged shooting, yes. But to then turn around and with a straight face at a press conference talk about how there's people out there fomenting political violence and then immediately pivot into, I think Donald Trump probably had something to do with this in terms of fomenting the violence. How on earth did Donald Trump, was Donald Trump out there calling for people to commit an act against a friend of his? Surely that can't be what you mean, because that would be moronic. It would be flat out wrong. Or, Governor Pritzker, are you suggesting with a straight face here that because Donald Trump just does Donald Trump stuff, that it's making other people so angry that they feel justified in doing this? That's not a normal human response. Maybe it's because your side, like that 2-minute clip we just played, the montage of all of the actual fomenting of violence that has been going on for years, are all from your friends, Governor Pritzker. They're all from your friends, all from your colleagues, all from members of the Democrat Party and the Democrat news media, the legacy media. It's all you. I'm not saying there isn't one. I can't think of a time. I can't think of any point in time where I have seen, and I've been watching politics since I was a teenager, over 30 years now. I don't recall seeing a conservative or / Republican member of Congress or governor or anything like this, calling for actual political violence, which is what the Democrat Party has been doing. Again, we just played the 2-minute montage. It's indisputable. And then you've got the news media out there, which has been overwhelmingly left for decades, that has been largely doing the same thing. Stormweaver for 50 Canadian smackers. This is just nuts, VR. Will you need a bodyguard as well now? Lord, I hope not. Thank you for the 50. I certainly hope not. It's little old me, right? I'm not, none of us is to the level of a Charlie Kirk. But then again, there's crazies out there. You never know. But y'all know me. I'm well armed and I carry, and I have been for more than half my life. So, it is what it is. But thank you for the 50. But yeah, Pritzker here. It's Trump's fault, ultimately. Charlie Kirk is dead now. He was murdered, politically charged murder, clearly, because, according to Pritzker, because Donald Trump. You can't make this shit up. I'm at a loss. Here was an interesting one. This was published by Congressman Randy Fine, reached out to by somebody, I guess, got reached out to. It was either him or another news outlet. This was from Utah. Let me come on, cursor. Let me go over here real quick. I think he's Florida's 6th congressional district. Or okay, it wasn't him. It was somebody else. Or maybe it was. I guess. Anyway, he gets a text, or somebody gets a text from this. I don't know. Genkarski is A.G. Genkarski. I don't know. Probably some journalist or wannabe journalist. Good afternoon. I was wondering if Charlie Kirk getting shot affects your position on campus carry. If gun control had been in play, could the tragedy have been avoided? This is like, look at the timestamp on this. We didn't even know if Charlie Kirk was dead yet at this point. He says, I learned that Charlie Kirk was shot 23 minutes ago. I'm repulsed that you even think to ask a political question when all anyone should be doing is praying for his survival. Never contact me again. That is the correct response. And I would say that that is probably a far more gracious response to this absolute ass bag than I would have afforded him at that point in time this afternoon, were it me. And yes, believe it or not, you still have, again, the trained monkeys out there, the trained Democrat monkeys, the circus monkeys that will dance when their political superiors play the music for them that makes no sense.
Live right now, let's watch. I think on a broader scale, do you think it can kind of cause an uproar or anything?
Well, from what I'm hearing, if it's true, the guy who got shot, he was a pretty big influence in whatever was going, like their agenda.
And look, this wasn't just Fox News today. It's like everybody's going out there trying to grab everybody they possibly could to shove them in front of a camera and get their reaction to it. And it's like, maybe use a little bit of discretion.
From what I heard, it was a sniper from a long ways away. So I don't know. I think the focus of this should probably be on probably some sort of gun control or something like that.
Yeah,
so that things like this can't happen again.
The left has made so many retarded people. Unbelievable. This one has been going around, and this is oh shucks, I just forgot his name. Anyway, former White House advisor. Oh God, what the blanked out. I just had a brain fart, but it really doesn't matter. It's just a. Let me see if somebody threw his name in here. It's not even her, but just watch this.
Yeah, and again, emphasize what you
Talk to me about the environment in which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this. But following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
It's, Charlie Kirk, hate speech. Remember, anything these people don't like is hate speech. He was targeting certain groups. He was targeting who? Challenging the idea that a man, or especially a 5-year-old boy, could wake up one morning and decide to go start putting things into their body that doesn't belong there, have radical, mutilating, life-altering surgeries, and then pretend they're a girl? Sorry, that's not controversial to say that that's a bad thing. That, no, that's not how that works. What's controversial is trying to introduce the idea to 5-year-old children. What's controversial is forcing the rest of society to pretend that somebody's psychosis or their game of pretend is something that we all have to go along with. No, Charlie Kirk was on the rational, normal, middle of the road side. But to the left, anything to the right of Mao is a Nazi. This is what we're dealing with. It's just an unbelievably stupid statement that basically what he's saying, well, Charlie Kirk was a very controversial figure. This dude sat down and way calmer than I could ever do in these situations. But then again, I'm a lot older and more grizzled. Charlie Kirk was a young man, a 31-year-old husband and father of 2 young children, very young little girls that have now lost their father, and a wife who's lost her husband. And all he did was sit down and very calmly do a back and forth with people. He's not cussing at him. He's not yelling at him. He's not screaming at him. He's controversial because the left couldn't beat him. Oh, they like to put out videos, watch Charlie Kirk get absolutely savaged. And then you'd watch the video and it'd be like, no, he didn't. The loony on the other side of the table that thinks they beat Charlie Kirk, all they did was sit there and wave their hands and scream and shout and do the ad hominem attack thing and did nothing, didn't win the debate at all. They couldn't beat him. But to him, to this guy on MSNBC, hate speech, Charlie Kirk being controversial and being a Nazi, let's be honest, that's what's in the back of his mind right now. He wants to say the word, is what did it.
Said he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt,
and that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
Talk to me about the environment.
And that's the unfortunate. And again, that's the unfortunate environment that we're in is that Charlie Kirk has been killed, and that according to Dickhead here, it basically he basically in his opinion, this was the environment that Charlie Kirk created. You can't make this up. And yes, this is the same guy you heard at the beginning of the clip that we played earlier that said, we don't know what happened. It could have been a supporter that fired off his gun in celebration watching Charlie Kirk. I can't. I mean, I don't know how much short bus stupid you can jam into a clip in under a minute. But I'm going to tell you what, this is probably going to be in the top 10 of all time.
Talk to me about the environment in which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about.
You don't hate them enough. How about some blue sky? I wish and I want to be careful about saying this on YouTube because the algorithm may confuse it. I wish the cartridge that hit Charlie a very pleasant day. That's your liberals on Blue Sky, the cesspool of the internet. And you can look at the responses. Thoughts and prayers to the cartridge. And yeah, here's another one. Again, MSNBC. It's amazing all the MSNBC stuff today. Isn't it?
Yeah, we're showing, by the way, our affiliate in Utah and the aftermath of the shooting. You could see people running away pretty quickly, as you would imagine they would do at gunshots. The FBI director, Kash Patel, has weighed in on this. He just tweeted the following: "We're closely monitoring reports of the tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected. Agents will be on the scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and the investigation." Charlie Kirk is a divisive figure, polarizing, lightning rod, whatever term you want to use. Why?
Right into it. He's a divisive figure, polarizing, whatever term you want to use. Again, they will never, ever, ever use this language about a Democrat. They will never use this language about somebody on the left. They'll be a champion. They'll be a hero. They'll be a powerful political figure. Every time it's somebody on the right, it's controversial, polarizing. This, again, it is years and years and years that this language has been exercised in the mainstream media to dehumanize Republicans, to dehumanize the right, to dehumanize conservatives. And we're now living in the result of many, 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 many years of that conditioning.
Well, he's one of MAGA's most prominent voices online. He hosts a near daily podcast. He opines on almost everything. He's been very closely aligned with the president since his initial run for office in 2015, 2016. And his ties to Trump really elevated his own brand. He was really quite young as an activist when the president launched his initial campaign. And he has kind of ridden along with MAGA since 2016 and built up a massive, massive brand of his own. His group has brought in tons and tons of money.
Yep. Just keep going. Just keep going. Good on Cody out there, Camelcast, for picking up on this one. I'm again, Harry Sisson, y'all know who he is. He's a wonderful little Democrat. Part of the problem. Harry Sisson really doesn't like Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk is orders of magnitude more influential and effective with the younger generation than Harry Sisson is. And Harry Sisson is one of these absolutely straight up paid mouthpieces for the DNC and has been for some time. But you're not supposed to know that. Stop sharing the video of Charlie. It's horrific. His family doesn't deserve that. Just at a total loss for words. Now, in and of itself, the statement is fair, right? Can appreciate that. The problem is Harry Sisson is also this guy. This is also the same Harry Sisson right here from like a month ago. Charlie Kirk is a sick, racist piece of trash. Just put the Klan hood already. Just put on the Klan hood already, Charlie. And you wonder why somebody shot him. You wonder why one of your guys, almost 100% certain at this point, one of your guys shot him. Stormweaver for 50. What hateful words, Valiant. I know. So terrible. And this comment was earlier. This was not what we have up on the screen right now. I just want to make that clear. He's not talking about Harry Sisson. He was talking about a clip that we were playing. And I think it was during the clip of JB Pritzker, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe right after that. Thank you, Stormweaver, again for the outstanding support. Yeah. Let me grab some more of these super chats here from a ways back. And I want to talk about the actual event because I have some thoughts on this as well. You guys know I'm a gun guy. I'm going to talk about it now that they seemingly have a suspect in custody. We're going to check in and see if there's any more updates here and whatnot. But what a absolutely tragic day today. Big Blue Horse, is good to see you. I was there. Oh, you were there? VR, I did email you some thoughts. Thank you for having the discussion. What we saw isn't what America should be. Oh, I didn't know. I did not check my email. That Valiant Renegade email gets really, really cluttered with spam because it's a Google account and it sucks. Let's see. Where did you? Oh, I see it now. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to reveal your. Yeah, okay. I see it. Commenting as Big Blue Horses. I got your email. Okay. Thank you, dude. I don't want to read it on air because I don't know if there's anything in there. Let's see. So you were close enough. So Big Blue says he actually saw the hit. Yeah. It must have been tough. Yeah. It's look. I'm sorry you had to witness that, Big Blue. Thank you for sending that to me, bringing it to my attention. Tennessee tornado for 10. This didn't just wake up the right. I guarantee it just woke up millions of young conservatives. I would not want that group against me. I suspect this could get very bad for the left. I think politically, this very well could. This is just like last year when somebody took a shot at Donald Trump. And he tried, another guy tried again a month or two later while he was in Florida. And we were all like, that's it. Donald Trump's getting reelected. You just knew at that point. You still had to show up and do your job, but you just knew. You got that feeling. This thing with Charlie Kirk it may wind up being as big, if not bigger, because Charlie's life was actually taken. I saw this and I marked this. Valiant 200 yards is not that much for a rifle. U.S. Navy qualifies at 200, Marines at 300. True. The reason I bring this up, I'm talking about, like, I think when I mentioned this on X, 200 yards is not something that your average off the street normie, especially a liberal who's probably never been around a gun in their life, can just go out, buy a rifle, and take a 200-yard shot and hit a target like that. Just not. And that was my point of saying that. Everybody knows that the 223, right? Because this is the AR-15. 223, 5.5. I can't get it in focus. You see that's a 5.56, 223, basically the same round almost. This is what's used in the most common, most popular semi-automatic rifle in America. It's the AR-15 platform. Okay. Take a shot with, and this is the projectile up here, right? The brass just ejects. This is the projectile up here. If I was taking a shot from 200 yards, I'm probably not using that. Like if I'm at like farm property where we've got 50 acres, and you can do a 200-yard shot from like one side of the pond at my friend's place, all the way across the cow pasture and plink a target, right? You can go 200 yards. 200 yards with these it's kind of tough. Because this is not a long range round. Probably what was used was this. This is a 308. This is what you use deer hunting. Again, AR-15, 308. Okay, 223. 308. So you can see the difference. Now we don't know for sure. Okay. We don't know for sure what was used yet. But again, I'm bringing this up. I'm doing the demonstration so y'all understand that my initial reaction when I'm not going to play it on YouTube. People have seen it enough. You can go out there and find it. But when I saw the first video and you hear the round go off, you hear the report right after it. And I mean, even though it's like a phone video and I'm watching it on a laptop, my initial kind of mental reaction was that's a decent caliber right there. Now, I mean, I know they're in a big bowl, so the sound in there really would pump and echo. No doubt. There's a lot of stone building, around it, so that probably could have amplified it. It very well could be a 223 or 5.56 out of an AR platform. But my initial reaction was like, damn, that kind of sounded almost like we were getting up in that 30 range, like a 308 or a 30-30, 270 Winchester, 300 Win Mag, that kind of thing. And then, like they said, he was 200 yards out, allegedly, was where the shot came from. And I'm like, this is a guy that's got some practice, right? This isn't an off the street Looney Tune. This is somebody that knew what they were doing, probably selected a caliber that was capable of accurately, comfortably going 200 yards, maintaining enough energy to do as potently what it did to Charlie Kirk. Is horrible to watch. But my point, like I said, my point of bringing that up is that I'd be shocked if this was just some rando normie, right? This was somebody that spent time, that learned, figured out where they were going to go. There was a video of some guy up on a roof, allegedly. Again, we don't know the details yet. I don't think it's been made official. But yeah, we'll find out. Sherry Lynn says this was an assassination. It was, yeah. A colossal loss of a brilliant mind, courageous warrior, husband and father, and Christian man. This must not stand. No. Elijah Snow, lots of noise to signal. They can't and really shouldn't say much. Yeah. I think that's why they're keeping quiet for now. They'll come out when they have something absolutely definitive to say. Gokuri for 10. I live in Utah, not far from UVU. My nephews and niece were at the event. My stomach has been in knots all day, especially after learning they were there. Pray for everyone involved. Rest in peace, Charlie. Sean for 5. Ron Coleman had a great response. You can just do things, yeah, but that doesn't mean we might not make you pay for it. Yeah. Rest in peace, or rest in power, Charlie. I like that. Thank you, Sean. Tennessee Tornado for 10. If you thought that you were going to shut a movement down, you're going to get a rude awakening. You woke us the fuck up. Greg Gutfeld to close the 5. Yeah, I didn't see that clip. I saw a clip of Greg Gutfeld on the 5. He was reacting to some of the crap on MSNBC. I don't think I saw. I must have missed that part unless it was in a different clip. That's a good one. I'll have to go find that one. Gokuri for 2. When they tell you who they are, believe them. Yes, indeed. No question about it. Tank Rat, I was at work when I found out about Charlie here in the UAE about 2 hours earlier. I'm shocked. I cannot unsee the video. Screw the Democrats, the Democrats, yeah, who have been saying, you get in their face. They caused this. Yep. Played the clip. Probably played that clip after you sent that in. But yeah, indeed. Yes, they did. We know where the problems are. Captain Fandom Nerd, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Tank Rat for 25. I'd not be surprised if the perp is of the same ilk. of the recent school shootings? It could be. I mean, there was some speculation because he had just finished a question, I forget, on religion. And then he had just gotten thrown a question about, I think, the transgender community or transgenderism in general. And it was 5 seconds into that, the shot went out, and that was it. We don't know yet, but would that surprise me? No. But like I said, whoever it was obviously had some better than basic, just real newbie basic knowledge of choice of firearm. And I heard somebody say, well, maybe it was probably not a handgun. It was probably like a 22 rifle. I'm like, stop. People that don't know shit about guns, please don't. Nobody taking a shot at 200 yards with a freaking 22. Shut up. 22. Stop it. The stupid, and that's what drives me nuts the most. They bring on these quote unquote experts onto the quote unquote news to talk about stuff they don't understand. It's ridiculous. Tyler Shan for 2, or Tyler Lashin. We're not Londonistan. 2A for a reason. Snarky, I'm looking to the law to investigate and provide answers and do justice. Yeah, go for it. I mean, people that want to exercise the law in the proper means to actually render justice, like actual justice, not social justice or bullshit like that. We need more people like that. Wild Man says for 5. Meanwhile, MSNBC, it was someone celebrating him being there. Yeah. Yep. Played that clip. Thank you, Wild Man. Yeah, I can't. Snarky for 2. Flags are at half staff till Sunday. Yep, rightfully so. DCB Titan for 2. Occasional Cortex. We need to do things we're doing. We need do things we're doing. Big Daddy MRI says the only thing necessary for the triumph of bad men is that good men do nothing. That's right. And Infinite Wanderer for 5. Do you think this will drag back the right who dropped after the Epstein files? Oh, let me be honest with you. I mean, I don't want to go down the road with that story. Really, not today, but I get what you're saying. I'll be honest with you. I totally get why people were upset over that. I wasn't happy about it either. Did anybody believe anybody's going to walk away from Trump or from the right because of that story? I don't. Not in the long run. No. May it have reinvigorated some? Certainly. I don't think people were as, oh my God, I'm leaving Trump forever now because of this story, or lack thereof, because they made the story disappear. Right. Rhetoric, at this point, U.S. leftist media is worse than North Korean propaganda. At least North Korean propaganda is entertaining with how zany it is. Ours is just morbid. Yeah. Comics Dad for 5. Did you see a current writer? Yes, the DC Comics guy. I think I saw that earlier, and then I think Gary reposted it not long ago. A current writer at DC Comics was celebrating and sympathizing with the cartridge. Of course, it's a man playing dress up too. Surprise! Yeah, right? Isn't we all just really so surprised at that? Are we even surprised that they have those kind of folks at DC? David Zaslav, look, I realize that DC comic books have been really low on Zaslav's org chart in terms of we need to clean things up. Maybe use that stupidity from that DC writer today to get in there and finally clean house over there. In fact, let me see if I can find. I'll show everybody what he's talking about. I know Gary had reposted it. I don't remember where I saw it first. Yep, this is it. This is what he's talking about. This is the writer of Red Hood #1, whatever I heard. DC official released this comic book today. Really bad timing for this comic book and this idiot writer to be coming out and saying this kind of thing, clearly. In response to someone shot Charlie Kirk, this freakish individual decided to go with this as his response. And again, of course, it's on Blue Sky. Of course, it's on the cesspool, the left-wing, violent, angry cesspool that is Blue Sky. And there you have it. That's what you're dealing with out there. That's what we're dealing with. And well, I'm gonna check in with some other dudes. Let's see if, in fact, let me switch back over here. Why does it keep taking me to this old story? It's like I've got to clear the cache. I don't think there's anything. Oh wow! They've already wait here. They've already released the guy, the person of interest. This is new. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Let's get to this. Hang on. This is new as of just not even 10 minutes ago. Charlie Kirk, assassination subject questioned and released after Utah. Oof, okay, so wasn't the guy. Somebody who was of interest. But that's why we say they go from person of interest to suspect to arrest. Well, we didn't get past person of interest, I guess. I'm coming down to cover up this stupid ad. Utah authorities questioned and released a person of interest. This is as of 8:10 p.m. Eastern. So that's not even. This is 8 minutes ago. It was updated 8 minutes ago. Questioned and released a person of interest Wednesday afternoon. The subject for the horrific shooting. Okay, that was from Kash Patel's attack. Earlier, he wrote that the subject was in custody, and Republican Utah Governor Spencer Cox. We played the live press conference earlier when that was going on. Cox also hinted at an ongoing investigation. I want to make it crystal clear, whoever did this, we will find you, we will try you, we will hold you accountable. The investigation remains ongoing. School spokesperson initially said campus police had a suspect in custody, but later reversed course. We saw that. I'm going to play the clip. There was that older guy that they had in custody. May or may not turn out to be anything, but as of right now, it looks like it's turned out to be nothing. Allegedly, according to the police officer in the video of him being dragged to the car, the cop said something to the effect of somebody was asking him in the crowd, a lot of shouting going on, saying he said he'd shot him, but apparently he wasn't the guy, or something along those. This is what it sounded like the police officer said, but apparently that was not the case. So, I don't think. We asked for patience through the process. We're providing updates as best as possible. So, as of right now, it looks like they're still looking. They're back to still looking. Well, I have. Oops. I think I pulled.
Doing that, and that gift is important, and I think that gift will keep on producing real results.
Yeah, and
I'll get copyright hit for keeping this up, so I'm going to get rid of that. Yeah, as of right now, let's see if there's any other information. X really is the fastest method of getting news out there for sure, no question. So let me take a look at this, and then we'll go back to some super chats here, because I know there's plenty of them still out there that we need to get to, and I really appreciate everybody's support and patience with that tonight. Oh my God, look at the top of my screen. Mom Donnie, that socialist psychopath from New York. Political violence has no place in our country. They all talked about, they all keep using the same lines, except these are the very people. Look at King. Your voters are celebrating this. Yes. Savvy. We love Savvy. You want prisons gone. Your supporters are cheering this on. Your policies lead to more of this. You aren't horrified. You're excited. Savvy, if you don't know Savvy, she does not pull punches. This is why we love Savvy. Need to get Savvy back on the show here again soon. Not even going there. Yeah. Here's the vote. Who is it? A veteran, a Democrat activist, a professional hitman, or a trans killer? It's not wrong. I think maybe some of all of it. Do we really want to put the Paul Pelosi thing? Are we serious about this? Do we really want to put the Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's husband, the guy that he knew that had a history with him? We're going to try to include that as a political attack. Who was in his house? They were in their underwear together. Give me a break. Give me a break. Paul Pelosi. The fuck out of here with that. Stupid. Clay Travis, you cannot call your political adversaries Nazi, fascists, and modern-day Hitlers and then say political violence is wrong. That's it. That's it. Oh, God. Pocahontas. Did I miss a Pocahontas clip?
That turns to violence when we just this is just wrong. And my heart goes out to his family, to his friends. But we just cannot be a country that turns to violence when we disagree. We just can't.
What can Congress do?
So stop telling your supporters to do that. You and your party are the ones that do it. Y'all tell your voters to do it. You tell your supporters to do it. We just played a clip of it a little while ago. I'm so sick and tired of these freaking people always acting like the damn victims. The innocent bystanders bearing no responsibility for anything. Piss on these people.
Well, what thing Congress can do is gun safety.
Oh, here we go. I guess she and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez got the same talking points, to go out and discuss. Now it's gun safety. It's not gun control anymore, right? They stopped using the word control. It's like, we're not going to use global warming anymore. Now we're going to call it climate change, right? Now it's not gun control. Now it's gun safety. Everybody's for safety, right? Gun safety. Safety. What would have changed? I pulled this up earlier. If he was shot with this, basically what amounts to a deer hunting cartridge, right? Long range, 308. Most of these things are bolt action. They're not even semi-automatic. What gun safety are you talking about?
And every time there's a killing, the Republicans say this is not the time to talk about gun safety. And yep.
I have never heard the term. I'm going to be honest with you. Tell me in chat, have you guys heard Democrats use the phrase gun safety before? I don't think I really remember this before very recently. Gun safety, gun safety, gun safety, gun safety. They've changed the language again because they figured out their old language wasn't working. So now they're going to use the word safety. Again, it has nothing to do with safety, anything they do. It's just a word. It's like the Affordable Care Act. Nothing affordable about the fucking thing. Premiums go up 400% almost within 2 years. And trust me, I know, because I've been in the financial industry for over 20 years. I lived through it. There's another one. I'm going to use the word safety. I have never heard this term before. Yeah, thank you, Tennessee. That's the phrase I was looking for. Wait, Tennessee, are you in? Or you're in the main chat? I mean, the main channel chat. Why can't I? Why is it not here? I can see it over here on YouTube. Yeah, it's common. Like they call it common. There it is. Now I see the comment. Common sense gun control. That's what they've always said. Well, the problem is everybody panned that. Like everybody thought, bullshit. Gun control is not the problem. So now this week they have made a shift in the party apparatus. They have all gotten a memo. There's no way it's an accident that this thing right here and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, moments apart in different areas of the Capitol where they were doing these interviews, both use the phrase gun safety, gun safety, gun safety. That's not accidental. This is the next wave of gaslighting from the Democrat Party. We are hearing it break today. This is the new lie that they're going to tell us.
We have to. As a nation, we have more gun deaths than...
Gun deaths? Oh, my God. Guns are dying? Are you okay? Gun death? Why is it? Do we call knife death? How about fist death? Gun death? What gun died?
most other nations, and our children, our friends, our neighbors saved by deaths. We have more gun deaths than most other nations, and we don't keep our children, our friends, our neighbors safe by just putting ordinary gun safety rules in place. You know, I just want to say this coming from
ordinary gun
if the rest
safety
of the country would
rules.
just follow the rules we follow in Massachusetts, we could reduce fatalities all over this country.
If we just follow the rules that we have in Massachusetts, what? I don't want to go down this road. Not on this show. I'm not even going to say it. Did enough of that the other night.
Plenty of people who are hunters and who use guns for sport still have lots of activities in Massachusetts. But at least we make it.
I got news for you, Pumpkin. More than likely, the type of gun that was used to do this today to Charlie Kirk is the same type of gun that you're talking about that all your hunters use. And this idea that the Second Amendment is just for hunters and hunting and all this absolute dog shit. I'm so tired of these idiot people. A bolt action 30-06 Browning is probably something more akin to what was used today. So what would have changed? How does that work, Liz?
A little tougher to use guns for harming other human beings. What do you think?
It's a little tougher in Massachusetts for people to use guns to harm other human beings. What fucking planet does she live on? Again, the most ignorant people alive are the ones that the media run to get opinions on things they know nothing about. And unfortunately, in the case of Elizabeth Warren, is one of the people that certain voters in this country have thought highly enough to put in charge, or at least be one of 100 members making laws on these topics, many of which are unconstitutional. But every one of them today on Capitol Hill, moments after finding out that Charlie Kirk was killed, immediately go to the platform now of gun safety. The Democrat Party has now officially today, Wednesday, September 10th, used the murder of Charlie Kirk to launch their new gun safety campaign. Again, the fact that that multiple persons coming out of Capitol Hill, Democrats, well-known Democrats, are using that phrase that I've never heard them use before, are now using that today. Well, I almost made a bad reference there, considering the events today, but they decided to launch this today. This is not an accident.
The people who are saying the Democrats need to lower the temperatures. Oh, please. Right. Why don't you stop?
So wait. She just got asked a question. Wait. I got to turn that up because I couldn't hear what the reporter was saying. Wait, what did she say? She asked about what do you say to the people who are asking Democrats to lower the temperature? Did y'all hear that? That's what I heard. Hang on a second.
Make it a little tougher to use guns for harming other human beings.
Right, because there's no murders in Boston. There's no inner city gangs in Boston shooting each other. None of that. They can't use those illegal. It's woman is stupid.
Say the people who are saying the Democrats need to lower the temperatures. Oh,
Yeah, that's what she said. She said, "What do you say?" Because she's got the microphone pointed at Liz Warren's face instead of her own when she's asking the question, so you can't really pick it up, but it's there in the background. She asked, "What do you say to the people who are saying Democrats should lower the temperature of the rhetoric?" Which everything we just showed you the clips a little while ago, right? This is not a dispute. They have ramped up the rhetoric, the violent rhetoric in the last several years. And look at Elizabeth Warren's response to this. That's what that oh, it's not us.
A little tougher to use guns for harming.
Listen carefully.
What do you say to the people who are saying the Democrats need to lower the temperatures? Oh, please.
Lower the temperature. Yeah.
Right. Why don't you start with the President of the United States?
Oh my God. I mean, I didn't watch the clip and you knew this bitch was going to say that, but it still hits when she does. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, has not told anybody to go out and beat Democrats, like physically. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, has not told the people on the right to go out and behave in a violent fashion anywhere. January 6th, Donald Trump told people not to go to the Capitol and don't do that and don't do this and don't go there. But yet they still wanted to put this man in prison for inciting an insurrection with no evidence of it. Elizabeth Warren was one of them. And now she's going to stand here and have the audacity to say that after everything we've just showed you, all the clips, all the news reporters, the elected officials in the past that have talked about getting rough with Republicans, get in their face, go to where they're eating dinner, go get in their face, get a crowd around them, harass them, stalk them, assault them. I have thought a lot about blowing. I mean, Madonna out there, all the celebrities, De Niro. No. It's Donald Trump's rhetoric. Are you absolutely shitting me right now?
At least we make it a little tougher to use guns for harming other human beings. What do you say to the people who are saying the Democrats need to lower the temperatures? Oh, please. Right. Why don't you start with the President of the United States? Right? And every ugly meme he has posted and every ugly word. He is the leader of this nation. And I think that when he's posting things like he did just a couple of days ago, trying to show an entire city on fire and a reference to helicopters, in effect, throwing people out of helicopters and showing himself as some kind of big chest beating
Does anybody know, and I'm genuinely asking the question, does anybody know what the hell she's talking about? I don't follow on Truth Social, and I know Trump doesn't post much on X. Can somebody fill me in? Like, what in the hell she's talking about? That Trump was posting about throwing people out of helicopters? Is that what you just said? And
threat, then I just don't want to hear this from the Republicans.
Do you think politicians are...
oh yeah, let me tell you what. She doesn't want to hear it from the Republicans. This is the thing. This is the moment. This is the day. This is the week. This is the event today that we're going to look back and say, you know what? No, enough of this. Charlie Kirk was probably, honestly, the least controversial because the way he conducted his debates and the way he handled things, he sits there and he talks to people. And they don't like that they can't beat him, and they shot him for it, like we said before. And you're going to tell me that the rhetoric is Trump's fault, and you're just going to ignore the fact of everything you've done up to this point. This is going to be the day where we say, you know what? We are not going to allow this to not only continue here. We're not going to allow Charlie Kirk's murder to be in vain. This is the moment that, and people, and I'm not saying go out and do stupid stuff. Don't misunderstand. What I'm talking about is we have to unequivocally call out the Elizabeth Warrens of the world. The moment, and I mean loudly, and everybody call it out. No, sorry, that's bullshit. And here's the problem. There's two, they call it the great silent majority in this country, in America, which is what elected Donald Trump in 2016 and in 2024 and maybe in 2020. The silent majority cannot continue to stay silent anymore because we are literally being killed. And people like Elizabeth Warren, and yes, the rhetoric she uses and her party members and her fellow Democrat Party leaders use is a big part of the problem. We need to stop treating it like it's not, or stop trying to, and stop accepting the moral equivalency arguments like I mentioned before. That, oh, well, this happens on the right too. Let me go ahead and stop you right there. The level, the severity, the ferocity of the violence from the left is orders of magnitude more than anything I've ever heard of from the other side. And it's consistent, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. We are not going to accept the moral equivalency argument bullshit anymore. Let this be the day. The left is going to call people on the right racist and homophobic and transphobic and ists and phobe, no matter what you do. It doesn't matter. So you might as well fight back. Because it doesn't matter if you sit there and do nothing and try to be polite, they're still going to call you that. That was a clip I didn't even get to play the other night on the Renegade Nation show. We were talking about the brutal murder that took place in Charlotte a few weeks ago that everybody just found out about in the last few days because of the video that released. And there was an old clip somebody pulled of Van Jones talking about how, people on the right, they all have a mental virus or something. They will never. I mean, this is the kind of thing, we make jokes about people on the left are mentally disabled because it's based in the fact that they don't seem to be able to process logical thought. And stuff like this, watching Elizabeth Warren sit here, and she's asked a very poignant question by the reporter. What do you say to folks that are talking, maybe the people on the left should kind of tone down the temperature or whatever they put, And she immediately pivots it into, well, that's not us, it's Donald Trump. These people are sick.
Eating a threat, then I just don't want to hear this from the Republicans.
Do you think politicians?
I don't want to hear this from the Republicans. Give me a break.
Trying to turn the rhetoric down.
I think what we have to say is, A, violence is not the answer, and we are willing to take steps so that violence in this country is not so lethal. Do we have a...
Wait. What did she just say? That violence in this country won't be what?
Is not so lethal. Do we have a single Republican who will stand
in the rhetoric down?
I think what we have to say.
No. There's no way she just said that.
Do you think politicians on both sides have a role to play here, though, in trying to turn the rhetoric down?
I think what we have to say is, A, violence is not the answer, and we are willing to take steps so that violence in this country is not so lethal. Do we?
We're going to take steps, or we need to take steps in this country so that violence isn't so legal? Or did she say lethal? Either way, it's like, well, which one of those two statements is worse? We should pass a law banning murder. Fucking stupid. That violence isn't so lethal. So we can have violence, but as long as it's not lethal. What law do these people think they can pass? What legislation do they think they can pass that criminals will obey? This is always the stupidest part of this. It's like, criminals by definition tend to ignore the law. But we will always have retarded white liberal Karens like Elizabeth Warren, who, by God, she is going to speak to the manager.
We have a single Republican who will stand up and join us following the school shooting out in Denver.
Because it will do nothing. All you're going to do with those kind of things is to ban law-abiding citizens from being able to exercise their Second Amendment right, which you can't defeat by statute, by the way, anyway. So Elizabeth Warren's response to Charlie Kirk getting killed is to, honor his memory by suggesting that something really, really stupid and terrible and anti-American be done, which would have been the antithesis of what Charlie Kirk would have stood for. These people will never not seize an opportunity to push their nonsense, especially a crisis.
At the same time, school shootings happen every single day. They have become commonplace in this country. It's hard now.
Yeah, well, maybe you should stop transing kids, because most of the last school shooters that we've had in the last few years have been non-binary type.
To actually get attention when someone has been mowed down with a gun, and Congress could change that and should change that.
Congress could not change that. Again, this is part of the terrible argument of the left that says Congress can fix this. If you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you in the desert. It's a lovely bridge. Passing laws does not solve the underlying cause of violent criminal behavior, and it's not the gun. I've mentioned to people before, if guns were the problem, then, suburbs and rural areas all over this country would be war zones that would make the inner cities look like a kindergarten class, because we have all the guns in the suburban and rural areas, at least the legally owned ones, and bigger ones than the guys in the cities do. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely.
Same question before you, and he said Congress can't change the heart of a man.
You can change whether or not they have a lethal weapon in their hands, and the likelihood that they will be.
You can change. Wait a minute. This is getting worse and worse. I cannot believe. Good Lord.
You can change whether or not they have a lethal has become commonplace. Actually get attention when someone has been mowed down with a gun, and Congress could change that and should change that.
I just asked Senator Cassidy that same question before you, and he said Congress can't change the heart of a man.
Okay, she just asked Senator Cassidy, so Bill Cassidy from here in Louisiana, just asked Cassidy, and he said Congress can't change the heart of a man. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Bill Cassidy. I ain't going to go down that road either. But he's 100% right on that one. 100% right on that one. Congress cannot change the heart of a man. And listen to Elizabeth Warren's stupid response.
Congress can't change the heart of a man.
You can change whether or not they have a lethal weapon in their hands.
No, you can't. No, you can't, Karen. Unless what you're talking about when you say gun safety is the confiscation of every privately owned firearm in this country. Most people in this country would prefer not to be slaves to government. Charlie Kirk, damn sure, didn't want to be a slave to government. Again, listen to what they're doing. Listen to what she is taking the opportunity and using Charlie Kirk's death, his murder, probably by one of her own. Look at what she's doing with it.
And the likelihood that they will be able to kill another person or to kill themselves.
Congress cannot solve that, and she is lying. She is either clinically retarded or she's a damn liar. It's one of the two, or both, but it's definitely one of the two, for sure, at least.
Up if they have a lethal weapon. Those are the facts. And Republicans want to turn their backs on that because it is more politically expedient. But they are not making anybody safer.
A lot of people are saying that political violence has no place in our country, but it clearly does have some place in our country.
Fact of life now.
Is it just a fact of life now? That there's
I don't want it to be a fact of life, and that's what we have to keep saying. We have to keep saying no violence, but we also need to back it up with actions. And backing it up with actions means just taking some modest steps for gun safety.
Oh, it's always modest steps. It's all. Let me tell you what. This is what I can't stand. Again, we're going to take the murder of Charlie Kirk, a conservative hero, an icon today, for Elizabeth Warren to go out and first just obfuscate on the fact that it's been her side of the aisle calling for political violence, whether she thinks so or not, for years. I don't care. We've shown you the evidence. Everybody out there can see it. They can go look at the media. They can look at MSNBC, CNN. You can look at all the elected officials, the clips we played earlier. The left calls for violence. The left foments violence from their base. Period. End of story. That's it. She wants to deny that's going on, number one. And then number two says the real fix is not to address what we're doing on the left. We're just going to deny that it even exists, even though everybody knows it exists. No, the real solution is to take guns away from people, because a corrupted heart person who did this wouldn't have been able to do it if they didn't have a gun. Okay, so then how do you fix that? Take away guns from everybody. That's where it's going. Again, they're using this at this point. This woman is all over the map.
And remember here, most of America agrees with us.
No, they don't.
A lot of steps on gun safety, on things
That's
like
a lie.
Background checks.
We have background checks. Background checks have been going on for years and years and years. This is another lie that the left keeps using moments like today to propagate. You cannot walk in anywhere and go buy a firearm without going through a background check.
This is what America wants to do to protect our children. And yet, the Republican Party, just as they bend a knee to Donald Trump, bends a knee to a gun industry that continues to make money by stirring everyone up and making sure that everyone has access to every possible lethal weapon. And that puts all of us at risk. It puts our
That everyone has access to every again, the hyperbole and the stupidity of these people is beyond
Senator Warren,
reproach.
do you feel safe given all of this violence?
How can anybody feel safe today? I worry when I send my grandchildren off to school. Who doesn't? If you're alive and breathing in the United States right now, you understand that the risks have simply escalated. And
Yeah, she's her brain is gone. Stormweaver for 50. I'm afraid what may happen going forward to outspoken conservatives and libertarians, as Ben Shapiro, Douglas Murray, Konstantin Kisin, and others. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, all of these guys out there that do these tours are now they're going to have to double and triple their security details. I mean, look, the situation today with Kirk, where he was tactically, he was in about the worst position he could be in. I mean, he was at the bottom of a bowl surrounded by tall buildings. I'm going to tell you what, there will not be another conservative speaker out there ever again that will do a thing like Charlie Kirk did today out in the open like this, in that bad tactical position. And I'm not trying to blame, obviously, Charlie or his security detail. Who thinks that's actually going to happen to a guy like Charlie Kirk? It's one thing when you have the president of the United States somewhere and you can put snipers up on the rooftops, counter snipers up on rooftops all over buildings to cover the protection detail. You can't do that if you're Charlie Kirk. You know? Thank you, Stormweaver, by the way. Thank you very much for your generosity tonight. Britt Cormier for 50. AOC and Elizabeth Warren talking about gun safety. I just want to laugh. I want them to recite the 4 basic rules of gun safety. I will put a lot of money on the line that says they can't do it without someone coaching them. I have known them since I was 8. Yep. It's not hard. It's basic stuff. I've heard 3 and I've heard 4 because some people combine 2 of the rules. You know, always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. Always treat a gun as if it's loaded. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. And never point the gun at anything that you don't intend to hit. So, yeah. I mean, basic stuff. Thank you very much, Britt. Thank you. Boy, you guys are, let's see. You guys got a lot of comments in here. Doge for 2. Me and bro BYU, younger siblings, UVU alumni. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Yeah. Pool Hall for 5. If you're on X, you can report anyone making suggestive comments directly to the FBI. FAFO. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm just looking at some other news stuff here. Oh, somebody's got it in. Okay. I'll pull this up in a second. Let me grab a few more of these chats. All right. We're going to take a look at this. George Takei needs Jesus and to renounce lifestyle. Doge for $2. Thank you, Doge. Snarky for 10. And I'm sorry, I'm not more peppy reading these super chats like I usually am. It's just that day. I know you guys understand, so I just don't take it personally. Snarky for $10. Limitations, bans on firearms only punishes law-abiding and responsible citizens with every right to own a firearm. Yes, prohibition ignores the underlying problems. They don't want to address the problems because the problems all point back to people like Elizabeth Warren. They all point back to AOC. They point back to the cast and crew of tards on places like MSNBC and CNN who talk about committing violence against Republicans. Clank, clank, I'm a tank. For 5. Vote like Charlie. YouTube won't let me send what I want to say, so win at the ballot box. Yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot of people trying to super chat some stuff tonight that ain't going through. Potentially Criminal is in the house for $5. You can smell the fear from people like Brooklyn Dad. Life came at the left very fast today. Yes. Brooklyn Dad is a consummate short bus dingbat. God, my eyes itching like crazy today. I feel like I've told you guys before, it's like when I'm in here, I don't know what it is, something in this room. I'm sitting here streaming. My eyes have been getting a lot more irritated lately. I don't know what's going on. Mainly when I'm in here. I don't know why. I got to figure this one out. Me and my monkey. God bless Charlie Kirk's family. He stood up in public for what he believed and was cut down for it. He was an inspirational person to many of us. Yes. Juliet, one of our wonderful moderators out there for 1 British pound sterling. Thank you, Juliet. You didn't have to do that. I'm so happy you did. Thank you. Marcus Quintus is out there. I think D-Bud Martin was in here earlier. Mr. Tickle Trunk is in the house. We've got a lot of good moderators out there. And I'm trying to scroll through and see if I can find everybody. Because, again, I'm not really looking on YouTube. I'm looking on StreamYard. If I missed you, my apologies. Let me see. Because I don't have the Renegade Nation chat up, but I think Juliet's in both. Marcus Quintus is in both. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I saw D-Bud earlier. Big Daddy MRI was out there. So thank you to the mods tonight. Lord Kamina for 2, unless it's a SIG. Yeah, no P320 jokes. I've never have owned a P320. So when all that started, people were asking about it. I'm like, I don't have a 320. I have a 365 and a 229, but I've never had a 320. So I've never had that issue. Albertus Magnus for 5. Dems have been dog whistling this for years. Expect more dogs to answer the whistle. Pritzker and his party will not stop. Yep. Nom de plume. Prayers for Charlie and his family. May God protect and comfort them. Albertus Magnus, gun control disarms victims, not criminals. This is by design. Yes, it is. They want more unarmed victims out there. And they want a population that they can absolutely, totally control. Like, look at Britain. Look at what's going on in Britain. Look at what went on in Australia during COVID especially. Look at how brutal law enforcement got with the population back then to force them to do things, force them to get vaccinated, force them this, force them that. Nobody had the ability to rise up against an oppressive government in those countries. Need to watch social medias and YouTube. They'll try to hide that this guy was a fan of Young Turks and leftist media, like other gunners from DCV Titan. Yeah. Yep. The long-range perpetrator is most likely a victim of MK Ultra. That's one I haven't heard in a while. That World War II. John Maynard for 5. Thank you, John. Diz the Jizz for 2. Speaking of retards, did you see JB's comments? Just wow. JB's comments? Which JB is that? Was it on X? Do you want to tag me on X? I'll go look in a minute. Albertus Magnus for 10. Imagine, if you will, a mind so polluted, so corrupt that it believes that merely talking to people out in the open is so dangerous that it justifies murder. This is the modern leftist. Exactly. Remember, the left is the one that created the hallmark phrase of, well, words can be violence. Again, they've programmed their base, which is already mentally unhinged to begin with in many cases. They've already programmed their base to believe that words are violence, Republicans are Nazis, Trump is literally Hitler. And what do you do with people like that? What do you do with the Klan? What do you do with Nazis? The left has conditioned its base. This is what they want. John Maynard, there was a UVU student that had posted yesterday on the Tweety hoping that this, I did see something about that, and now they privated their profile. I don't remember if I saved it or shared it, but I saw somebody post that. They were saying, yeah, something's going to happen tomorrow when Charlie Kirk is here. That guy. Yeah, I think I even tagged him in it. I think somebody posted it and I wrote underneath it. It was like, hello, FBI. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I did see that, John. John Common for 5. Today, we lost who very well could have been the next Rush Limbaugh. Yes. Yes. Albertus for 5. One should not expect civilized behavior from Dems. In 2025, it's getting hard to. I mean, we should always expect civilized behavior from everybody. As just a core tenet, we should always expect that. But I think now what's going on is we know that the likelihood that we're going to get it, even though we expect that people should behave a certain way, that with certain people, like especially the left, we're not getting it. John Maynard says for 5, this is a string of hits on right-wing voices to imprison or delete them. Depends on the sentiment. This is a domestic terror attack. I agree. Yes. It's absolute. The actions today against Charlie Kirk are unequivocally the intended effect of this, apart from murdering Charlie Kirk, who the left could not beat in a debate, and was moving scores of younger people to the right. They had no answer for it. They tried, what was the 300-pound fat girl, Olivia Juana, whatever freaking name was, Liviana, whatever. And you got Harry Sissy Boy, and all these little twinks and fruits and weirdos that they plant out there from the Democrat Party. And they can't get any traction, but Charlie Kirk was doing it. Yeah, this today was meant to, number one, stop Charlie Kirk from ever talking again. And number two, to instill fear in the rest of us on the right for speaking out, because you could be next. That was the intention of the actions today. It was a message to conservatives. It was a message to, voices out there on social media and YouTube and Rumble and X and everywhere. It was a message to the Benny Johnsons. It was a message to the D-Day Cobras out there. It's a message to countless other personalities and commentators out there that, be afraid. That's the message that was put out today from the individual that killed Charlie Kirk. I'm gonna get a couple more, and then I'm gonna pull up this thing on Twitter here because this is interesting. Dazzler, CNN, MSNBC, and company should get ripped off their broadcasting licenses yesterday or even the day before. I get where you're going. But just so you understand, there's no license for CNN and MSNBC because they're not over the air. You don't go through the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, for a license to broadcast unless you're broadcasting on terrestrial antenna over-the-air TV. If it's delivered by cable, which CNN and MSNBC are exclusively cable delivery and streaming, of course, now, there's no licensing. There's no broadcast licensing for it. NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, not Fox News, but Fox itself. Those are broadcast channels. Those would have FCC licenses. Or DDS 420. The Provo, Orem area should have been safe for Charlie Kirk. The majority of people there agree with him. Yeah, it's Utah. It's a deep red state. But again, you get on college campuses, man, you never know what you're going to wind up with. I lived there while going to university. My son went to UVU. These two towns are relatively quiet and majority conservative. Yep. But again, that's not everybody on the college campus. And sometimes that's why, somebody who wants to do somebody harm is going to pick a place like this to go to, because you wouldn't expect it in a majority red area. right? Hillis Mallory for 5. Your thoughts on if we can return to having mental institutions to keep those within that cannot function in society. Go for it. I'm all about bringing back the insane asylums. That's fine. Otherwise, build more prisons because we need more of them. Because there's a lot of people in this society, there's a lot of people in this country that don't want to be healthy, functional, nonviolent members of a moral, functioning society. They don't want to be part of it. They want to destroy it. Prison's a good place for them, probably. All right, let me pull this up. So this is what, basically what somebody was showing here, where they said, the shot came. This is the Losi Center. You see in the back here, LOS, Losi. I'm probably saying it wrong. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. Let me move over here. All right, so you've got up in the corner there where that line starts and moves from the upper right side to the lower left side of the frame. All right, so that's where they're estimating that the shooter was. And you can see the distance there, basically on top of that building, shooting, I suppose, over that food court, that student union, and then down into that bowl. That's a distance of, according to this, 455 feet. So that's that's a good bit. That's a good bit. So that's about, what is that, 100 and, it is feet, right? It's not, yeah, it's feet. It's in feet. So it's at a distance of about, what is that, 150 yards, roughly? About 150 yards. So not quite 200. If this illustration is accurate, I can't testify to the veracity of this information. I happen to see this. But you look at where they set up, and what he says, it was professional. Well, it was definitely somebody who knew what they were doing. Let's put it that way. Remember the little twerp that got himself up on the roof that took a shot at Trump a year ago? Right? And they found, he was at the range every day, practiced a long time, and he was about 100, he was like 100 yards, 120 yards. He was using a 223. So if this really is closer to, say, 140, 150 yards, then yeah, maybe we've got a guy that used a 5.56, 223. If the information that we all saw originally that it was 200 yards or more, that's why I was thinking earlier, hey, we might be somebody who used a 308. It might have been anyway. Like I said, I just remember when I heard it, I was like, that was a caliber. Unless, like I said, I speculated before that there is this thing right here is a massive sound chamber, a massive echo chamber when you look at this out. So it could have potentially amplified the gunshot significantly more than it actually was, suggesting it was a larger. But again, at this distance, at 150 yards, you're not using a small caliber, you're not really going for a small caliber round. You could, but at 200 plus, I don't know. But we'll know more. They arrested some other guy. That was a bizarre situation, arresting the other guy. I want to go into that now. Too long in the show for that. And I'm sure we will learn more by the time I'm able to do the next show. I'm going to be on the road all day tomorrow. But yeah,
need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
Biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should.
Again, just spilling out words, no evidence, nothing behind it. just this is how I feel. This is the left that have been mentally training their little trolls to turn this violent for years. Every single Democrat is condemning the attack on Charlie Kirk. Some Republicans, like Elon Musk, are trying to incite more violence and blame the left. They are to blame. Jasmine frickin' Crockett. I'm not even going to get started on her. I'm not even going to get started on her. Wow. You know, they've yeah. This is going to be interesting. How many of these people that can't hold their wad in the next few days that are going to absolutely get fired? Here's Libs of TikTok. I can't believe people are actually, oh man. Yep, she decided to post that online, and it doesn't take very long to find out who they are. Of course, it's a school teacher. It's a product of teachers' unions and an education degree. What a shock. What a shock. There are going to hopefully be a lot of people that wind up losing their jobs when they voluntarily run their mouth like this. Moment of silence for Charlie Kirk at Yankee Stadium. Good for them. Good for them. Good for the Yankee organization. Not a team I usually would pull for, but good for them for doing that. Kirsch has got a point. Yeah. See, look, this is the kind of thing. This is why what happened to Charlie Kirk happened, because this is what they want. That's what the left wants. Talking about the DC stuff. Oh, that's right. It was Matthew Dowd. That's who it was. Oh my God. So wait. MSNBC had to come out and apologize. Oh.
Following up with what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
Right. Blaming Charlie Kirk. Victim blaming. Look at this statement. I'm guessing, is this real? Who posted this? Oh, Eric Daughtry. So I'm gonna assume that this is accurate here if Eric is posting this. Statement from MSNBC Public Relations. This was a tweet they made because they probably got they have been getting savaged all afternoon, rightfully so, on the internet for their horrid newscasting. They are the sewer of the news, and it's not even really news what they do. MSNBC President Rebecca Kutler, quote, during our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Matthew Dowd made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable. We apologize for his statements, as has he. There's no place for violence in America, political or otherwise. Here's the thing. He said it, and he said it because that's what he really meant. You know how these people think. We're sorry that he said it live on air and that you heard it. But those of us at MSNBC probably really agree with most everything he said, if not every single word. That's what's really being said here. We're just sorry that he did it on the air. Oh, God. Do we already get an article up at TPP on the DC Rider on that Park Place? Make sure y'all check out that Park Place every day. Come on. Why do they always look like this? What? James Woods posted this. What is this? Wait a minute. No way. What is this? So this was like during a live. Is this a live stream from TMZ that was going on?
Janet, go to have.
So there's a bunch of people cheering and clapping in the background. And so TMZ said, we want to make it clear that these cheers were a reaction to a high-speed chase happening in California. This was prior to and not related to Charlie Kirk's death. Okay. I don't know. I won't. I just scrolled past it. I'm not going to pass judgment on that. We actually have. Okay. I did not realize this had come out. We have an actual statement here from President Trump. Let's listen in. I did not realize this had come out. Okay. Here we go. Y'all ready?
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible.
Yes.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals.
There it is.
This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it,
Yes.
as well as those who go after our judges,
And we know who
law enforcement officials,
Yep.
and everyone else who brings order to our country.
Soros'
From the attack on
organization,
my
mainly.
life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others. Radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died.
Yes.
The values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
He did not pull any punches at the end there. He did not pull any punches at the end there about, like we've been talking about. And this is why Trump got elected. This is why people voted for Donald Trump. They wanted somebody who wasn't going to play diplomat anymore as a Republican, while the left for decades have been playing political warmongers. I mean, there's no, you don't compromise between food and poison. Remember the old Milton Friedman question, one of the greatest economists and thinkers in American history. Milton Friedman once said, how do you compromise between food and poison? Well, Trump's not compromising anymore. He's calling out exactly what the problem is, just as we all have been. And this is what I was saying earlier when I said that we need this to be, let this be the moment that we all start doing this. We're not going to play the moral equivalency game anymore. We're not going to accept it as a valid argument because it's absolutely without merit. It's nonsense. It's bullshit. Okay? And I'm gonna play the end of this speech again when he gets into this.
As well as those who go after our judges, directly responsible, radical left, tragic consequence of. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it. And
now listen to this. He brings up some great points here. This is the same thing we're getting from the left. Of you know, they're going after law enforcement agents, like personally. They're doxing ICE agents. They're doxing where they're going to be, where the activities are. They're trying to dox and tell, you know, where do they live, their families. They're putting law enforcement agents in personal physical danger. They're constantly trying to obstruct the lawful duty of law enforcement officers with immigration enforcement and others. It's been going on a while, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. There is no comparing by any stretch anything that's happening on the right to what the left is doing and has been doing for years and will almost certainly continue to do if we allow it.
Support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come.
And that's the most important part right there. That's what we were talking about earlier. That's the most important thing. This will not have been in vain. His death should have meaning. His life had a tremendous amount of meaning. There's no reason for his voice to die with him. I think Trump is totally right. This event must not be allowed to paralyze those of us who agreed with Charlie, if on many, if not all things, to be silent, because that's what they want. That's the whole point of today. We can't beat them, so we'll kill them. Right? That's the thought process. That is what's happening. Can't beat Trump? Well, try to take him out. Well, can't beat Charlie Kirk? Shoot him. That's the left. That's what's going on. Alberta's for 5. From Clinton to Biden, Dems have recruited controllable people for military who are loyal to the party, not the people. This might be one. We'll find out. Hopefully sooner than later. Right? Hopefully way sooner than later. And yeah, they're still saying, shooter still at large. I don't think anything has radically updated. I don't know. Let's see here. I'm going to pull this up real quick again. Why it keeps logging me out. You got Eric Trump over on Fox News right now. Albertus Magnus for 5. Elizabeth Warren, the dog whistler, has no heart to go out to anyone. Snarky for 5. You want to learn gun safety? Watch Jerry McCulloch, world-renowned, world record-holding firearm expert. Cool. Check him out. Albertus for 5. Leftist media share talking points they have since 1984. That I have observed. Nothing new here. No, you're absolutely right. Remember, Limbaugh used to talk about the fax machine. They'd get the fax every morning with their talking points. And like invariably, when they ran through all the different morning news shows, every Democrat had the same words, the same talking points, even the same. Remember when gravitas re-entered the English lexicon? Remember when they talked about George W. Bush, he didn't have the gravitas to really be president. And it was like 12 different Democrats all on different shows that day, all used the word gravitas. It was one of the most, that was the moment that even the most ardent doubters could see. And many of these interviews were going on at the same time, could clearly see that all of this was programmed, totally programmed. News anchors were using the word gravitas. Guests on the show were using the word gravitas. Democrat elected officials using it on the shows with the news anchors who were also. I mean, that's when people knew that the news organizations were all in on it. It wasn't just everybody in the Democrat Party. It was all the news organizations were in on it with them. Mr. Tickletrunk for 5. 100 men need to stand up where Charlie fell and go back to talking to political rivals. Yes. Bet the person who did knew he was effective. Oh, yeah. That's why in this crazy asshole's mind that Charlie had to go. We'll get answers on this one. We better. Frazita fan 76 for 5. The party of tolerance isn't tolerated. Or the party of tolerance isn't very tolerant itself. Especially if other opinions they can't defeat. Hillis Mallory for 5. When you outlaw guns, then only the outlaws will have guns. Precisely. Tickle Trunk for 5. I'm on the left VR, and I say all politicians are opportunists. Opportunist is something different. Yes, I believe you. Especially people like Warren are crooked. Don't call the whole left dumb. Well, no. When I say the left, I'm talking specifically about the American politically elected left apparatus, the machine, right? The machine itself, by and large. There are some rank and file, obviously, that are problematic, but I get what you're saying, right? I get what you're saying. But yeah, specifically when we talk about the left calls for violence, we're talking about the party apparatus, the DNC, the machine in Washington. That's where, and the media apparatus, the legacy left-wing media apparatus. DCV Titan for 5. I find it funny that they whine about people ending themselves, yet abortion is a right. Yeah. In their mind. Tickle Trunk for 2. Warren knows it won't work. She's a politician. I think she's one of those that's actually dumb enough to think that what she's saying really would work. I think there's some level in her brain where she thinks that's the answer. Because I've heard too much from her to think that she's in any way, somebody who I'd refer to as smart. Agree with her or not. Politicians don't care about us. Just votes, says Tickle Trunk. Yes. Marcus for 2. Tucker Carlson is our best hope. Maybe. Tickle Trunk for 2. Kirk is now a legend. So much respect for him. Yeah, I mean, he was a legend before today, and now the legend will grow. It's going to be like, what was that? Oh, it's from Braveheart. Or, his legend grows. It's like the last scene. His head was placed on London Bridge. His arms and legs were sent to the four corners of Britain. It did not have the intended effect that Longshanks, it did not have the effect that Longshanks intended. Remember that line in a Braveheart? It's going to be the same thing today. Pool Hall for 2. It's hard to defend against the CIA. Tickle Trunk for 5. Many the left are not Democrats. I'm Canadian, but I agree Warren is acting despicably and trying to use this tragedy for votes. Shameless and disgusting. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Hillis Mallory for 2. Just want to put this out there. Third party. Realistically, and this is the problem. You can like this answer or not, but it's a fact. A major third party is a one-way guaranteed ticket to perpetual, overwhelming Democrat rule of everything. Because the third party is mostly going to siphon votes away from the Republican Party. And you will guarantee that Democrats win forever. It's just how it works. It's not like you have in other places around the world, like in Europe and whatnot, where you have 4, 5, 6 parties out there, major parties that do this. The apparatus doesn't work the same way here. I'm not saying I'm opposed to, a true, common sense American, that looks a lot like conservative / maybe libertarian third party. But the reality is what you'd wind up doing is you'd create an environment that would be exceptionally easy for Democrats to get more power than they've ever had. And then they would never let it go. That would be the end of it. That's what bothers me about that. Jean-Michael Gauthier says for 5, the MSNBC apology is a scam. MSNBC main account has 5 million followers. Apology is on press account with 24,000, not nearly enough. There you go. Scam apology not accepted. Exactly. Dave Ward for 2. Have you heard about incident at Evergreen? Is that the school shooting that was today? I know there was something going on. I'm so buried in the Charlie Kirk thing that I am not. It was in Colorado, right? That's what I saw was in Colorado. I haven't looked at it yet. Too much. I mean, I will eventually, but not for this show. But yeah, thank you for letting me know. Marcus for 2, a Mexican Iron Man rant would make us feel good. Just saying. Mike went on a rant last night, so I don't know if he wants to do it again. He's welcome to hop by, but we're kind of closing down. Jeffrey Jackson for $100. Ignore the trolls. Appreciate your coverage, Valiant. Thank you so much, Jeffrey Jackson. It was great to see a lot of new names out there today. And that one, let's see, Jeffrey Jackson, that came in. That was on the main channel. I haven't had a chance to take a gander because I'm not in the. I'd have to open up the studio for the other one for Renegade Nation, which I guess I could. I don't know. I am still having trouble. There's something wrong. There we go. Come on, mouse. Work. Because I want to make sure I mark off all these things. We're gonna kind of wind it down here, guys. I've got a pack. I've got heading out of town tomorrow, so I've got to get ready for that. But let me fix this up real quick. Let me just make sure. I want to go backstage on Renegade Nation. Let's see. I think that's from the main channel. Pretty sure we had a pretty good audience over there as well. And I think, good Lord, no, it still has me. I can't pull up both because when I switch my account on one, it flips the other one. And I think because that was on Safari. Let me see this. Content live. Oh no, it's got me in now. I need to go check in on backstage on Renegade Nation and make sure all of the super chats from Renegade Nation should have made it over. Yeah, okay, all this stuff from Tickle Trunk and a lot of these other ones. I'm like I said, I have with as many places as we're broadcasting to this evening. It's hard to keep up. So I'm going in and just liking the super chats over there on Renegade Nation right now. So appreciate you guys for hanging out there. Cyanide Reese for 5. I'm saddened by all of this. I'm worried what my baby is going to be coming into. Yep. I mean, look, I've got a 20-year-old in college, nearly 18-year-old in high school, and 14-year-old starting high school. So I get it. Snarky for $50. Who loves this show and the loved gunslinger that runs it? I love this show and this awesome dude bringing us only the best. Appreciate you, VR. Thank you, Snarky. You guys out there in the audience is what makes this show work. And Snarky, hope the family's good, man. I know y'all went through a lot this past week. Hope everybody's doing well. And thank you so much for all the support from everybody out there tonight. We'll be back Sunday for sure. Again, tomorrow night seems very unlikely that I will be in a position to do a Thursday night Renegade Nation, which is when I do the show with Ron. Because almost certainly I will still be in the car. I will still be driving. So either we'll try to do a show later in the week, which we might wind up doing anyway. I might wind up just doing an impromptu show sitting in a hotel on Friday afternoon or Saturday afternoon, depending on what happens with the news. So stay tuned. I will keep you posted. Sunday, however, the plan is, of course, we'll do the regular Valiant Renegade show with all the Hollywood and entertainment stuff. And of course, there's almost no way that this story is still not going to be a major component of the Sunday show. I'm sure it will be. I will have other things to talk about, right? But I just, like I said, I can't imagine we're still not going to be talking about. So, any case, I'm just taking one last gander to see if there's anything before we leave tonight that is. They're still apparently looking for the shooter. Nothing, I don't think, has changed from that standpoint. It's so hard to keep up because the information is. Yeah, and people. I see this. Yeah, the quarter hit. Yeah, people talking about the difficulty of the shot. I'm I'm just saying, people are saying it's like, it's, people with basic training. Yeah, basic training, military basic training. That's not a noob. That's not a random dude off the street. That's what I'm saying is that, when we talk about these things, this is not somebody that did not spend time learning how to do this. This was somebody that spent time learning how to do this. Because this is not just something that anybody can pull off on a whim, right? You can't. There's nobody out there that could just walk to a gun store right now, buy a 30-06 deer hunting rifle, and then that afternoon climb up on top of a building and take a 200-yard shot on a target that small and hit. Just not. I mean, you got to know how to sight in. If you're, which at 200 yards, you're absolutely using a scope. I mean, you'd have to know how to sight it in for that range, that distance. You'd have to know the range first, which means he probably had to get a rangefinder. Probably, had to properly sight the optic on top of the rifle to that distance. Practice at that distance. I mean, it's just like the guy who tried to take a shot at Trump a year ago. Same thing, right? I mean, yeah, he was just some little dipshit that we haven't heard anything else about since. I wonder why. But I mean, that kid practiced quite a bit to take that shot. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be somebody else like that. It wasn't a rando there. I saw people saying, "Oh, well, he probably got the gun. He just concealed the gun in his pocket and then got to." I'm like, dude, nobody is taking a pistol shot from 50 yards or 100 yards, let alone 150 to 200 yards. Nobody. It was a rifle. And it wasn't a 22, like I heard one person say. It's like, good. 22. Stop it. Me and my monkey gifted a Valiant Renegade channel membership. Thank you very much. Again, if you got any of these gifted memberships tonight from our wonderful audience, I really appreciate you. We hit over 1,000 likes during the show. We haven't done that on one channel in some time. YouTube has not been kind lately to creators out there, myself included. So really appreciate your support. Everybody watching on X. Looks like we had about 150 watching on Renegade Nation. And we had about 1,200 watching on the main channel. And then another 1,000 plus watching on X. So thank you guys. We'll see you later on this weekend. And prayers for Charlie Kirk's family. And that this terrible person who did this is going to be brought to swift justice. And I'll leave it there for now. Take care, everybody. Have a good evening. And make sure to follow. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to both channels. Follow us on X. And we'll see you next time.